Jersey Mike's for another special weekend. Come in this Saturday and Sunday.
What's going on, everybody? John on here with you. It's a Monday night, November 13th, 2023. How's everybody doing out there today? I believe Alec Nam is going to join me for this one. Cooper Hopkins is celebrating a birthday, so I don't think he's going to be here today on this side, but it's the final meeting of the regular season between the Colorado Avalanche and the Seattle Kraken. So let's get into it. Colorado Avalanche are 8-5. Head coach by Jared Bednar sounds like this. Nathan MacKinnon, Jonathan Drouin, Valeri Nichushkin, Devon Toews, Cale Makar, Ryan Johansen, Tomas Tatar, Mikko Rantanen with Jack Johnson and Bowen Byram, Ross Colton, Miles Wood, Logan O'Connor, Frederick Olofsson, Curtis McDermott, and Joel Kiviranta with Caleb Jones and Josh Manson. Alexander Georgiev should be the starter in that today for the Avs. And for the Seattle Kraken, 5-7-3, head coach by Dave Hakstol. It sounds like this. Matty Beniers, Jaden Schwartz, Kyle Yamamoto with Vince Dunn and Adam Larsson. Alex Wemberg, Jared McCann, Brandon Tanev, Jamie Alexiak, Will Borgen, Yanni Gourde, Tolvanen, Oliver Bjorkstrand, with Shane Wright, Ty Kartye, and Ryan Winterton. So that fourth line is still going to be active. Brian Dumoulin and Justin Schultz will be the backhand defense. I believe Joey DeCord is going to be in that tonight for the Seattle Kraken. So for the Kraken, there is some good news here, even though they've been struggling a little bit on the season. And it's not just from the Thursday side when they beat the Avalanche, but Turbo returns to the lineup. Ever since the injury, he's going to be on the second line today. And on the other side for the Colorado Avalanche, again, there are a few things that I can talk about here on the open side of it. And let's just get right into it. So for the Avalanche, they've lost 5 of the last 7 games. Again, they are 8-5 on the season. That sounds pretty good, but they have been struggling of late. I'm going to get Alec Nava in here right now. So in that 5 of 7 losing streak, they were shut out 3 times. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Vegas by a combined 15-0. They're also coming off a 4-3 loss to Seattle and an 8-2 loss, 8-2 against the St. Louis Blues. So they really haven't looked like the Colorado Avalanche. And on the other side for the Seattle Kraken, again, they beat Colorado, but they lost 4-1 to Edmonton, who just fired Jay Woodcroft. Alec and Ava and I will get into that in the first period intermission. Again, the injury is still the same with Jordan Eberle, Andre Burakovsky, but Turbo does draw into the lineup. And as we talked about for Artturi Lehkonen in our last game, he's going to miss several weeks from that scary injury from Jamie Alexiak.
Yeah, everything's been coming and changing here between these two teams. When we look back at the Artturi Lehkonen situation, that was scary because he was checked head first towards the boards from Alexiak. That could have been a lot worse.
So we're going to get into the play-by-play now, and Alec is exactly correct on that side. We are at Climate Pledge Arena. It'll be the last time we get a chance to watch these two teams play against each other, and that might actually be a really bad thing considering the way that this series has gone. So this will be Oliver Bjorkstrand now and toward the right side of the wing as this is flipped all the way across. So we'll get this one to himself, and Yanni Gourde, as he's still being trouble near the right side boards. Try to take this one D-to-D, but they can't hold the blue one as it's flipped back in. Be an opportunity now for Georgiev to go ahead and grab this puck. I mean, last time we saw some goaltending situations that was not Georgiev and it looked pretty good, even in a Seattle victory on that side. But Colorado has been giving up goals like crazy in this recent stretch. Again, 5 of the last 7 are losses as this is picked up right into the neutral zone, right down the middle, shut down by Georgiev. That was a good opportunity right off the rush. And now Drouin will try to get this one to Tomas Tatar as the stick knocks this one away. And Joey DeCord, who is known for playing the puck in behind the crease. You got to be mindful of that. Matty Beniers will take a look at it near the right side and pick it up. We'll make an outstretched pass. Valeri Yamamoto, sweet move right to the neutral zone, and Georgiev will cancel off with the right pad. So a couple chances off the rush for the Kraken here. It looked pretty good early as it really underway in the first period. John and within the play-by-play alongside Alec Novel will definitely be switching off as we go along. Bowen Byram, he's going to let his rest of his forwards change. He kind of fumbled the puck around a little bit. Johnson will get this one across the red line as he's sent back around to DeCord. He'll play this with the stick, brush it all the way down across the right side boards. This will be a long flip. Tanev will take a look at it, but this is knocked away from him. And here's a chance for Miles Wood on the left wing side. He's got Toews out there as this is picked up off the backhand now. Put this D-to-D. Jones will send this one across. Cale Makar into the traffic as this one gets bounced out in front. And Seattle Kraken might have a 3-on-1 here. near the right wing side. Tanev shoots. This goes off the outside of the bar. No goal. Here's a rebound opportunity off the backhand. Georgiev falls down, but he makes the save.
All sorts of chaos early on here in Seattle, going through Seattle sites, like they picked up where they left off in the last meeting when we look back at Oliver Bjorkstrand's goal, 32 seconds left. A 3-on-1 to begin things up. Perhaps a momentum shift as Brandon Tanev draws him in a line with Jared McCann and Alex Wenberg, and he was that close off the left post, just a bounce away from the game's first goal. Just there's 3 shots early on here in the opening 3 minutes. Wow.
And I know you know a lot about Turbo here on this side, Alec, but what exactly does he bring to the lineup for Seattle?
He brings tenacity, he brings speed, the forechecking, plus a scoring touch with him. Everything you want in a bottom sixer. He's playing on the second line with McCann and Wenberg. Interesting work for him.
Olofsson. Jones will go ahead and take this one. That was Toews. Let it go. This one goes up and on a play. 17:08. That's Colorado's first shot. Seattle's already got 3. Again, as Alec mentioned, it was a pretty good start. We're getting a little bit of replays there. Backhand opportunity was canceled out by Georgiev. That looked a little unorthodox as he had to fall down to his wallet, but he made the save. And again, as they mentioned, third and final meeting between these two teams. Kind of a shame, Alec. These games have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we would wish to get a lot more of these, much like the playoff series that we saw from last year. Though, if we're being honest about the Avalanche, they're in a must-win situation if we're being a lot, to be honest. They lost 5 of their last 7.
Yeah, it's not looked like the Avalanche. I mean, they got schooled by the Blues. They get up 8. Here's a chance that gets blocked. And again, St. Louis is trying to find their way through the thick of things there in a wild card spot in the West. I know Anaheim's trying to hold on to that as well. But 8 goals at home at Ball Arena, not good. Tolvanen into the traffic as this one goes a little wide. This will be a wobbling bounce back to D. And this goes high off the glass as Will Borgen will try to send this one around now for a long chance. This will get flipped out through center now. Valeri Nichushkin will just pinball this thing. I think he's going to take a change nonetheless. As Yanni Gourde is given a watchful eye, but Georgiev hasn't. I'll leave those with Bowen Byram. Byram now will back up into his own end. About 16:05 left to go in the first. Again, you got the feeds in between Altitude and Root Sports side. About 16 minutes left to go in this scoreless first. As it's sent back around for Brian Dumoulin, former Pittsburgh Penguin. As this is a long outstretched pass, good backhanded play. And this was Beniers that stayed on his feet off of a Tatar hit. As it's still Tomas Tatar trying to get this one. He'll throw it back to D nonetheless. Big Jack Johnson now gain the red line as he'll gain the entry here. DeCoeur will take a look as he's standing there at the right side post. Be sent back around for Justin Schultz. And now this will be one more pass here for Beniers, right across the tentacle logo. Ali Tolvanen and Kari Yamamoto. This one will get dumped in for Schwartz. Go back here for Adam Larsson. If the traffic goes off the right pad of Georgiev, this stays with Jaden Schwartz. Power move to the net off the backhand. And he's denied by Georgiev. So Georgiev's been under siege a little bit here early. As this gets sent all the way down. This will work out for the Avalanche as this still stays in play. Logan O'Connor. We'll go ahead and pick this one up now off the crisscross. Here are the left side boards, but nobody can hold that line. And has to go all the way back there is Devon Toews. Toews now on the left side red line. The Ross Colton, nice little move across left wing side. He's going to get all the way to the net, maybe. Around the net now. As the coordinator take a look at it. My goodness, what a move there. This is shot through the traffic, and now Devon Toews will find it. Here's a cross pass. Bouncing between some skates. Bodies are down. DeCoeur tries to get a stick on it. He does. As Seattle will push this the other way. Diving play. Keeping it alive is Shane Wright. He'll spin. Put this back around up for Ryan Winterton. Winterton trying to get through a couple bodies. As that was pretty close there for Seattle to be giving up a goal. And Colorado getting the first opportunity. And now we got a big fight. His gloves are being dropped. We'll see who it is right now. Alexiak and McDermott. The 2 big boys. McDermott trying to rip off the helmet. And now he's getting a couple uppercuts on Alexiak. Alexiak can't get his hand free. I don't know if it'll even get started. Some body shots. And now an overhand for McDermott. Big punches across the head. Alexiak is eating him right now. McDermott is feeding him his lunch. And it's still going. These refs are not putting this away right now. McDermott's still throwing bombs. Alexiak finally goes down. My goodness.
The three-point fight that we have been waiting for between McDermott and Oleksiak. These are the two names that come to mind when you want to see guys that will drop the gloves. Last time around, it was the guys that we least expect. Dunn and Bowen Byram. But there may be a bit of something here in a bit of memory because Dunn last hit Andrew Cogliano previous week. Cogliano's not playing tonight because as that hit from Dunn knocked him out and he is out for some time. And Cogliano, he previously got knocked out in Game 6 by Jordan Eberle. These two teams, a little bit of bad blood already to start things off.
Well, Alec, if we were thinking about the way that this was going to go from Thursday to the current Monday, and you asked us if we were going to sign up for this game because it's only a 2-game slate on the NHL night, I think we've already been treated to some fireworks here, and there's going to be plenty more. Again, the Avalanche average 3.2 goals a game, Seattle 2.6, but again, they've been giving up a lot lately. About 34 shots for Colorado, about 30 for Kraken. This is an entry after Olofsson. Long chance. Stick saved by the court and holds on.
You know, if you were to tell me that the Colorado Avalanche will be dealing with Alexander Georgiev for much of the season, and we won't even see Pavel Francouz for the year because he's getting shut down for lower body issue. That means more Ivan Prosvetov.
And Prosvetov was good in the game that we covered on the Thursday side, but again, make no mistake about it, losing Pavel Francouz, whether you think of a 1A, 1B situation, that's really going to hurt Colorado out.
Yeah, it's gonna, because you have Georgiev, whose numbers are down from last season, but he's a better goaltender than what his numbers are showing right now. He's got to pick up the pace along with the rest of the team.
Yeah, his goals against right now is about 330 on that side. It's almost the same as Philip Gruber on the other end, who was the former Avs goaltender now with Seattle. Here's another rush. Brandon Tanev, he might just get this on his own. As this will go back here for Wenberg. He'll spin to the offside red line. Centering pass from McCann. Didn't find a stick. Here's a slap shot. Rebound. Scores! Turbo! It's 1-0 Seattle!
Outfitting that is Brandon Tanev in his return in his first game back with the Kraken after he took that nasty cheap shot up high from Brent Howden on opening night. Outfitting on a backhander on a rebound as well. That's what you get your fast guys out for, to chase after rebounds and to bank it in the back of the net.
Wow. The juices are definitely flowing here. I'm glad you've been able to drum me here for this, Alec. I did not expect the electricity to already start as quickly as it did. I think we knew that there was going to be some intrigue into this game, but I mean, my goodness, it's still 13:45 left to go in the first, and all that's left is to figure out what else awaits us. Again, career high in goals and assists last year. This will fall back to Georgiev, and they'll hold on.
Georgiev already surrendering the first goal of this game. You have to wonder if this will go over to the favor of Seattle now that they're in a position where they can thrive. Remember back to last year when they had the ability to roll out all 4 lines, even though they're not the flashiest of teams and that they don't have a true superstar, they can still strike from any one of their 4 lines.
And that's what they want. They're going to find that again, that magic that they had from last year. This is still a really good team, and there's still time on that side. But whatever they do against the Colorado Avalanche, like, they got to find a way to channel it against some of these other teams. That's what they've been waiting on right now. It's Jones. We'll shoot this one in. Valeri Nichushkin will go ahead and take a look at it. It's Oliver Bjorkstrand. Send this one across in Seattle. They look dangerous again. Nicely played in off the window near the right side. Oliver Bjorkstrand. This is picked up off the backhand for former Tampa Bay Lightning man Yanni Gourde. As they'll send this back around. And the left side red line now. Good contact here for the Avalanche. Just trying to make sure to fight the bodies off here. Olofsson gets his stick lifted. Bjorkstrand, send this one D-to-D. Here's Schwartz into the traffic. Not sure how Georgiev can even see there. Been really good contest there for Seattle to make sure to obscure the vision. Colorado, desperate. They want to push this the other way. It's still looking a little more like Colorado. Way off sides on that side. 12:33 in the first. I think we're going to go to break.
This is something that Colorado does not want. No matter if it is their first line, their second line, or even their fourth line, Freddie Olofsson, or the new guy, Joel Kiviranta, converted a PTO into a 1 coming over the PTO. I believe they like what they saw from him in training camp. Don't have much intel on Mikko Rantanen nonetheless.
Yeah, again, a member of the Dallas Stars, as you mentioned. That's about all I got for you on that side. I don't know. With all the injuries now, I think the obvious thing is to say that they didn't expect to have to put these guys in their lineup, but that's just what they have to do right now. And for an Avalanche team, I mean, you look at it on the outside, Alec, 8-5 on the outside doesn't look like a reeling record, but dare I say it, Colorado's reeling right now.
Yeah, they're slumping as of late. Not the Colorado that we have been used to seeing throughout this time in the past few years. Because they were used to be a deep team. Now they're getting more top heavy. Such is the pain of having to deal with the tax of winning Stanley Cups, as was the case that they've done in some group last year when they lost Kadri, Burakovsky, and then they lost Comfort in the offseason. You bring in Johansen, you bring in Ross Colton, Miles Wood, Tomas Tatar, that's great. But you need to account everyone. And I mean everyone in the lineup. It can't be just the addition and your big superstars.
Yeah, it's perfectly said on that side. That's exactly what Colorado is trying to fight through now. Again, I won't make any bones about it. I still think Colorado is going to be there when it's all said and done at the end of the year. But these type of stretches, again, as Alec and I just discussed, especially through this commercial break, this is not what we're used to seeing from Colorado. And even for Jared Bednar, for the fans, or anyone at Ball Arena thinking like that, I think there is a little bit of cause for concern. But we know that Colorado would likely be able to turn it around. But as Alex said, it can't just be on the hands of Mikko Rantanen, Nathan MacKinnon, and Cale Makar. They need everyone else to get that going. And we'll see if they can do that as they can start to get a little bit healthy more as the season moves along, hopefully. As Matty Beniers find this now. Cale Makar will go ahead and push this one in. Tomas Tatar. Get this in the left side dot as Jonathan Drouin will flip it back around from Devon Toews. Played off the backhand now. And this will be the Kraken. And they'll flip this all the way down from about 80 feet, getting across the blue line. It'll fall right back to them. About 11:55 left to go in the first round out here alongside Alec Nava. It's a 1-0 lead for Seattle as the puck goes out of play.
So between these two, they're getting to know each other more and more, even with Seattle being a young team in their third season. Perhaps a young and growing rivalry already between the two teams. Thinking about last year.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of amazing how much this has really spread and changed and kind of devolved into something that's, whether you're an outside hockey fan, I know hockey doesn't always draw, and we talk about that sometimes, but I think this has turned into like a must-watch versions of sports between these two teams. It kind of seems like it's transcending a rivalry that continues to build, as you said, as this goes into the right side dot. And Ross Colton will lose it as this is flipped all the way down. Picked up here nicely by Wood off the backhand. Now Alex Wennberg will stick him, try to get out of his own end. There's some pretty good forechecking going on from the Colorado Avalanche, so to push them back across for Seattle. Want to start again off a long stretch. And to the right side, it's a chance for McCann. He'll spin and hold near the right side dot. Alex Wennberg, he gets canceled off the puck. McCann trying to crisscross. That got knocked away from him, but it's near the right side here for Larsson. This will be flipped up high. This hits the glove of Georgiev. He didn't know where it was for a moment, as this will be Colorado now off the rush. Wood will join, but it's Logan O'Connor off the backhand. Adam Larsson's back there, and a nice play for Oliver Bjorkstrand, as he'll pick it up with some help. He's got it now. This goes across the tentacle S, off a touch pass. Now near the right wing side. Has to get around Devon Toews. Yanni Gourde will shovel it back. I believe this was just kept in by Borgen, and it's a long wrist shot held by Georgiev.
So those shots from distance, you need to have someone that can deflect it up front. And those are going to look for Will Borgen. You got to have that hand-eye coordination right up front anytime, or a good screen in front. Nicely played by Seattle, though.
Yeah, be able to get that one right off the rush to get an opportunity there on that side, because it almost looked like it wasn't going to be. As this is recollected now, here's a chance as Borgen knocks it away. Yanni Gourde will go back and pick it up, and this goes back to Will. We'll make an outstretched pass. Good defense there for the Moose. Mikko Rantanen. He's got it. Right wing side. Here's a shovel pass right through the slot, and Yanni Gourde has it now. It's kind of a 1-on-3. He'll just try to chip and chase this thing, as this will be picked up in behind the cage for Cale Makar, the NHL 24 cover athlete. He's got it now off a 60-foot pass. The Moose has it near the right side dot, trying to keep this alive off the backhand, work it around the net now for Nathan MacKinnon. Jack Johnson, steady. We'll send this one across and give right back, playing catch. Nathan MacKinnon, this bounces in between his leg. I don't know if he got hit with the back of a skate as he got taken down, but we're still alive here, trying to gain the entry here, but Rantanen lost it in between his legs. And now Seattle has it. We're a little bit under 10 to play in the first. They got a 1-0 lead. Turbo's got the first goal on his return. Here's a rush. An opportunity now for Rantanen. Send it across, trying to find MacKinnon off the 1T, and that gets sticked away. Picked up here for Shane Wright on the fourth line side as it goes back to Georgiev and behind the cage. Larsson will pinch away from Freddie Olofsson, former Dallas Star. Again, you have a couple of them right now. You think about Valeri Nichushkin from several years ago. I think Dallas would even still be missing him, considering how good their team is right now. 9:10 left to go in the first. As this goes in across the red line side, Tomas Tatar will try to go ahead and find it near the left side boards, but there's Matty. He cleans it up. Get this one left to right. Vince Dunn in full flight. He's going to turn and shoot. This goes off the stick of Georgiev, but it's only brushed away. This might go right to Seattle. Here's a stick chop near the right side boards, and Borgen will pinch. Bounces up in the air. Tomas Tatar trying to find it. He'll spin around, and this will go to Devon Toews. Here's a good-looking pass. This sprung out somebody. Jonathan Drouin. He's going to work his way in behind the cage. Former Montreal Canadian. As Jones will flip this one in. Tatar will take a look. Schwartz trying to locate it. Beniers will send it back to his defense. And Ryan Dumoulin, as this is stretched the other way nicely. Kyle Yamamoto has to get through some body contact. This gets in there with Beniers, and he'll plug it in deeper. Yamamoto will try to find it, and this will fall back for Vince Dunn. Vince Dunn, stick chop. Valeri Nichushkin giving chase, and this will be Bowen Byram. Into the blue line side. He'll move back a little bit here, get into the neutral zone now for an outstretched pass. Colorado has been outscored 31-15 in the last 7 games. That's why they have a 2-5 record in the last 7 games, as Alec mentioned. A little bit too far there for Turbo, as this will go for Mikko Rantanen, as we've got some unbroken play. A lot more neutral zone play at the moment right now. Bowen Byram off the rush, 1-on-4. This bounces off of Nathan MacKinnon in the left side skate. Valeri Nichushkin will send this one back to D. Diving play and a good recovery there is Cale. He'll backhand this thing, send it back to Bowen Byram, and he'll flip it in across the red line now. So Cale, whenever he touches that puck, you can sense that speed. He's got very poised, keeps his head up. He knows where his teammates are. Oliver Bjorkstrand, Eeli Tolvanen off a sauce pass, goes a little bit too far. Tolvanen tries to give chase as McDermott will send this one back here for Johnson. Johnson will take his time in behind the cage of Georgiev, as he'll flip this one here across for Miles Wood, former New Jersey Devil. Stick this side by Decor, but this is still dangerous for the Avalanche. Goes crisscross for Johnson, shot into the traffic. Gets sticked away by Decor. Bjorkstrand try to find it, and it's flipped back around for defense. Here's a good-looking pass from 70 feet. Gaining the red line now for Oliver Bjorkstrand. Stutter step, trying to get back on the move. This is a back pass. As this is contested, gets knocked away from Johnson, and here are the Avalanche off a 2-on-2. Right wing side in full flight. Driving to that. Good cancel defense there by Vince Dunn, though. As Jonathan Drouin sends it back to D for Jones. Near the left side dot. Drouin, seam pass right in the middle. Johansen lets it go. Decord finds it through the trees.
Seattle's doing a very good job at matching every which turn that Colorado has made.
Yes.
We know how much of a speedy team the Avalanche are, when no matter who it is up on their lineup. We talked about Cale Makar, we talked about Nathan MacKinnon, some of the fastest guys on the ice. But Seattle, they have matched them on every which way, no matter who's out there on the ice between Vince Dunn, as he mentioned, Jamie Oleksiak, some of the standout defenders like Adam Larsson or Alex Wenberg, Yanni Gourde. Everyone's contributing.
It's really good to see. Is it one of those situations, though, I know it's kind of an open-ended question, Alec, is it one of those situations that these two teams just know each other so well? Or is it, you know what, kind of expecting Colorado, I think, maybe a little bit to get out of this funk, that Seattle's got to play a good game here?
I think it may be a bit of both, because we're expecting Colorado to get out of this funk, but but also Seattle knows Colorado so well, especially with Dave Hakstol matching Jared Bednar in each of the coaching tactics. A sentence I never thought I would say when he was the head coach of the Flyers.
Right. No, I mean, you couldn't have expected this. I mean, I understand how teams come together. And the Seattle Kraken had a little bit of a lull, and the Vegas Golden Knights never did. But the way that they built it in their second year, now going into their third, this is still a really good team. And Dave Hextall is a really good coach, and the program and everything else that they have in Seattle. I feel like this is going to be a dangerous team for years to come.
It's a case of when their young prospects finally break out and up to the big club. This year is a contract year for Alex Wenberg. If he's not retained by them, we can see more and more Shane Wright further down the road. We talk about Kartye, who's been a mainstay up in the Seattle lineup in the playoffs, and now we can get to see him and Wright on the same line later on.
Yeah, and you mentioned that with Wenberg, and again, I'm not saying anything bad about Shane Wright. I haven't seen enough of him to know consistently that he would be getting more playing time over Alex Wenberg. I mean, you don't want to have those losses like that, especially, I mean, let's be honest. Andre Burakovsky hasn't spent enough time healthy right now for the Kraken since being picked up by the Avalanche.
Yeah, if he played a full season last year, you could reckon he'd be their points leader. Instead, he played 40-something games, and he didn't even see a single playoff game. Not that it mattered for Seattle because the Kraken beat down the previous defending champions in that seventh game without Burakovsky.
Yeah, and as you said, though, like we mentioned, you need that depth, and you kind of wonder, you want those other prospects, especially Shane Wright being one of the very high picks, to make that push, but if he's not ready at this point, again, I think Shane is still only 19 on that side. Ryan Winterton is about 20. Again, both of their ages combined, I don't even think they're older than Pierre-Edouard Bellemare.
Bellemare, he's been helping scratch for this game, but they want to bring more of a veteran presence on that fourth line. If I'm imagining what Ron Francis had to say. So people are going back between the Shane Wright and Juraj Slafkovsky discourse. There was no doubt that these picks between these two, Shimon Niemann and Logan Cooley, were going to be project picks between Montreal, New Jersey, Arizona, and Seattle.
Yeah, I think he said that right. And again, when I think about Slafkovsky, I feel bad because Montreal is another one of those teams that are really seem to be on the precipice. I think Martin Saint-Louis done a great job. Kind of wonder if they rushed to bring him up there too quickly.
That's what I think, because this is a common theme when you see first overall picks being rushed into the lineup. But already, we speak of first overall picks. Another name that's worth mentioning, we can get to this later on, but Alexis Lafreniere.
Yeah, that's another good example there, especially for a veteran team like New York, as it's about 5:35 left to go in the first. McDermott going to try to go ahead and get one. We got our first penalty call. It's a tripping. I'll see if I can tell you who it's on.
They're pointing at Joel Kivaranta and Paul Morgan at the Altitude Sports Network. So as we get the call, it is going to be Morgan as he tripped up Kivaranta. So nice job there from the ex-star who came over from a PTO to draw the penalty as he got visibly tripped up along with the boards with both not only Morgan but also Kartye close on him at the near corner.
So I know on the other side, Dave Hextall is kind of wondering what's going on, but I think Alec and I can tell you this. Big moment early in this game with 5:34 as the Avalanche essentially get the first power play. A little offsetting fighting majors between McDermott and Alexiak. Somebody falls down as this is picked up now for Cale Makar. This is knocked away. Wenberg and Tatum, 2-on-1. Cale Makar is one of the best, though. Sent across, backhand, scores! A short-handed goal, and the lineup with Turbo continues to get it done.
The Kraken, who have killed off 3 Avalanche power plays in the last meeting, continue to pick up the pace, going one burner. How's about a taste of short-handed magic from Turbo and Wenberg? We were talking about Wenberg earlier and how he's on a contract year to see if he is going to stay or not, if that leads to more ice time for
Yeah.
to the 10th floor up at the penthouse. Nicely done between him and Tanev. And what more can the lone ass defender Cale Makar do back there? I mean, he was blocking up the pass, sliding out to protect it, and he had the right idea in cutting out that pass. No, it feels like it was a little more puck luck going towards Seattle's way.
I see something on my screen with the referee. Are they trying to challenge this? Turbo was really distressed on that, so he says Wimberg got the goal. I think Jared Bednar is going to challenge for offsides, maybe.
I think Jared Bednar is challenging for potential offside because perhaps we talked about the speed of Tanev. Bednar is arguing that he was a step or two a bit ahead on the play. That's what Bednar is trying to argue.
Are we going to get goaltender interference on the other side is what I'm seeing now from the offsides. What I saw here on the Root Sports feed is Tanev might have got his right skate in on Georgiev, which stopped him from making another opportunity. But I'll be honest here with you on this one. On my look, Georgiev's already made 2 saves with the left pad. I don't think he would have been able to reach out there anyway to deny a third opportunity. I don't think this should count against Seattle, but we'll see what they say.
Yeah, I don't think it should because he was sliding from left to right either way. The skate didn't matter in the end, in our opinion, John. I mean, we talked about how we're like-minded. We can agree on the fact that even if Tanev got a bit of a skate on Georgiev, I don't think this matters that much.
That's where I'm going with the 2 on that side. So I was challenged for goaltender interference to make sure that I got that correct. I don't want to say the offsides because I wasn't sure. But immediately when they showed it with Tanev, that's what I was assuming because we're talking about the speed side. But it is pretty amazing. Again, I asked you, what did he bring? And I know you nailed all of those points to throw out there. But it's hard to believe that Tanev, I mean, he hasn't played in a few weeks here, Alec, but he's already potentially maybe getting 2 points in the back pocket.
Potentially, in his first game back in a month. I mean, nearly a month. It was opening night since we last saw them.
So what's the call? They're calling goaltender interference. Man, I think that's a tough call. Turbo's pretty upset on that side. Not incensed, but honestly, I don't blame him. But it's back to 1-0.
I don't blame Tanev for getting upset at this call. He didn't mean running into Georgiev's left pad, and that's not the intent that he was trying to make. And because he was going so fast on the play that initially we thought the challenge was for offside.
Yeah.
I feel that the offside challenge would have made more sense. The goaltender interference one, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, unless we were talking about something like IIHF rules, those are pretty much as soon as you make contact, that is an automatic on that side to be turned away. In NHL, it's more interpretation. And it's tough to imagine Georgiev wouldn't have been able to even make a third save. It was kind of inconsequential. But as it stands, Colorado gets to resume their power play, and that shorthanded goal never happened. They can make this a 1-1 game. It's kind of where they wanted to be. Cale Makar, Ryan Johansen. As this for Cale. Stutter step long wrist shot, almost hit the outside of the post. It's picked up by Mikko Rantanen. And now Johansen. Send this back for Cale near the right side of the blue line. Now Johansen, stutter step, cross pass. Nathan MacKinnon can't find a lane yet. Nathan MacKinnon fakes the shot. Try to get to Johansen. And this one sent down. So Colorado's first power play of the game. Down to 55 seconds. If you can believe that's 2 for 28 on the power play in the last 7 games. Are you kidding me with this personnel? As it's Nathan MacKinnon. And off the window for Valeri Nichushkin. Near the left side, MacKinnon will send this one across. This will be intercepted by McCann and successfully cleared down the ice. About 40 seconds left to go on that power play side. Good entry there for Nichushkin. As it's McCann. We'll get the pick, though. And Seattle is doing a great job on this first kill. Again, they had a shorthanded goal that was turned aside, so this is essentially a success as long as they don't get scored on in the next 20 seconds. Here's a drop-off for Jonathan Drouin. Full flight Tomas Tatar. Half spin. Late for Ross Colton. This is Devon Toews. On the left side red line now. Drouin will play crisscross. As this gets intercepted, Dumoulin will get this one nicely in Seattle. Expert penalty killing. They flipped this one all the way down the ice. That was a good job there, Alec.
Very good. Even though the shorthanded goal didn't count, as long as he didn't get scored on, that is good. But I'm in disbelief about that lackluster power play numbers on Colorado's side. 2 for 28 in their last 7. What?
Yeah, that does not make any sense with this team personnel. I mean, you really can't slice it any other way. I don't know what Jared Bednar and everyone else are going to be thinking right now, but they got to get back to the workshop here, back to the drawing board and figure things out, because that's why you're going to be losing 5 of the last 7 with numbers like that. The Schwartz. This one will get knocked away. 2:50 left to go in this first. Long outstretched pass for Borgen, but it gets intercepted across the tentacle S. Here's an opportunity for Logan O'Connor. This goes off a couple Seattle bodies. 2:40 left to go in this first. Near the left side. Contact there. Logan O'Connor in behind the cage. Decord along the butterfly in the left post. This will be picked up for Jaden Schwartz. Schwartz will spin in his own end. Send it back to D. There for Will Borgen. Play crisscross with Jaden. And behind the cage. For Dumoulin, as it's 10-5 shot, Seattle up on the board 1-0. We thought it was a short-handed goal, but it was taken away from goaltender interference. It was a good challenge by Bednar, and they needed it in Colorado. As Alexander Georgiev plays this in off the window, Adam Larsson might get this interception and now push the other way. As this is Nichushkin cross pass, and Decord is down. They got a piece of it with the left pad. It was a 2-on-1, but it didn't materialize for the Avalanche. Sent the other way for Bjorkstrand, but it sticks and it knocks it out of the zone as it's flipped down here for Rantanen. About 1:45 left to go in this first. Drawn out alongside Alec Nava. Will be switching into the second period. Rantanen gains the entry now near the right side dot off the drop pass. Jonathan Drouin on the first line side. Devon Toews nicely moved for Nathan MacKinnon. MacKinnon stutter step shoots. And this gets blocked. Seattle trying to find it. Mikko Rantanen be the first to punch this around the end boards maybe. As this gets picked up, Drouin, as Rantanen gets taken down, is kind of being held by Dumoulin and Schultz. You got to make sure someone else is there. Colorado can wheel and deal. Nathan MacKinnon, he was looking for a tip, and Joey Decord made a good save. He just lunged out and stopped it.
What Colorado has been applying over the last few minutes on the offensive end, they've got to be angry that they didn't score on that power play and nearly allow a shorthanded goal. That may be the mentality that they're going with in these final moments of this first period.
Yeah, you think you're going to find some of that anger, some of that energy, and channel it into something, Alec, as you said. I think that's perfectly said. This is not what I'm expecting here. Okay, good. We'll just mention the Thursday game and say, hey, that was wildly entertaining, and Seattle was able to pull out a thrilling victory on the end of it. We can all agree with that. But going into the Monday side, I'm not going to say complete reversal for Colorado, but I'm damn near expecting them to punch Seattle in the mouth, and right now they're not doing it.
Yeah, we would expect, because when we go back to last year's first-round series, the road team was dominating in all 7 games of that playoff series for the most part. Well, when we take into account Game 2, which was not the case, and Game 4, which was also not the case when Seattle outshot Colorado 43-23 and won in overtime. But Colorado, for the most part, in that playoff series, in Seattle, they were punching the Kraken in the mouth the same way the Kraken were punching the Avalanche in the mouth at Ball Arena.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is in between these two teams that's kind of awoken this for Seattle, but that sea monster that you always talk about that the Kraken can be for whatever reason. Again, we mentioned this with Cooper on the Thursday side as well. They bring out the best in each other, these two teams. And Seattle, again, for a record, you look at it in the outstretch, 5-7-3, and say, hey, that doesn't look all that good. But whenever we see them play this team, it just kind of seems like you throw that out the window. That Seattle's looking like they always do.
Yeah. No matter what, it seems they always bring the best out of each other, these two teams. And we speak on another NHL game that's happening right now. Well, it's a 1-1 game in Edmonton, and full desperation mode has completely settled in. The panic meter, forget the number 10. It's gone up to number 11 because Jay Woodcroft was used as a scapegoat for the team struggles. Chris Knobloch in his first game. It's a 1-1 game. Leon Draisaitl after Matt Barzal.
We're definitely going to get to that in a couple minutes because I do want to share my thoughts on it as well from what Alec just spoke about because I agree. They showed Nathan MacKinnon in his games in the regular season as a long slap shot gets knocked out of the air. I wanted to mention this before I forget. Nathan MacKinnon in 83% of his games now against the Kraken. So about 3 meetings this season over the last couple. He's been held without a point against the against the Kraken in the regular season. So keep that in mind.
The amount of the workload that he and Mikko Rantanen have to put up this season can attest to the top-heavy mentality in the Avalanche have embraced after lots of quality depth that they had in the last 2 off seasons. Because McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen are playing over 21 minutes a game for these first 13 games.
Yeah, and that's going to add up here, Alec, through 82-game season, through another playoff run that you would expect them to have. You want to have that quality depth, and when you don't have that right now, that's going to put more pressure on your stars, and bad things can happen. I mean, think about it last year. They made a heck of a run to go back and win the Central, but they were just decimated by injuries all year, but now it's just depth continuing to be lost. And again, it's hard to believe 2 straight years now without Gabe Landeskog. Tripping penalty, I believe, is very obvious in front, so Colorado should bleed the rest of this first. They could go into the second with a full 2 minutes. That would be the smart thing to do, Ross Colton, as this will be sent back around. So that's exactly what Colorado is going to do. They're going to get a full 2-minute man advantage when they start the second period.
Scratch that. They may have just several ticks of a second left here in this first period as Brandon Tanev touches up. But that was a wrong move from Tanev. So, in one argument, you can say that Mikko Rantanen made him look silly with those stick handles. This may be, in hindsight, a good penalty drawn by Rantanen to force Tanev to commit.
I agree with you on that side. He made a good move into the neutral zone. He got Tanev all spun around like a top. So that's not what you want. You take a penalty right after that. But again, Tanev should have 2 points. He's got 1 on that side. He's going to sit in the box. He's going to get a really long break, Alec, on that side because he's got the intermission as well. So 1 more draw, not going to mean anything. We'll go 1-0 to the dressing room in favor of Seattle.
So the Avalanche need to wake up here in this second period. But the Kraken, they've been playing at their very best throughout the first half of this first period and then hung on for the rest of the first period to do enough to completely shut down an Avalanche team that really has to get going here through this game because they're not doing enough through these last 7 games, having lost 5 of them, allowing at least 6 goals in 3 of those losses.
So, Alec, before I get into the other stuff, because, again, we're going to talk about Edmonton again, and I promised everyone else who listens to this late, we do talk about other teams, but there's been so much going on. But what do you make of the 8-2 against the St. Louis Blues at home?
Holy. We talk about blowouts of unsuspecting teams. The Blues really look like an unsuspecting team that blew out the Avalanche. We talk about the goaltending issues from Alexander Georgiev, and his numbers were down from last season, but he's still a better goaltender than what his numbers suggest. You remember last year he had a career year as a starting netminder for the Avalanche with the right opportunity and the right capitalization onto it. You get the right results and the right confidence that Georgiev was looking for. This year, up to a slower start, I feel if it's 1 month, it's a one-off. If it's 2 months, it may be a problem. If it's 3 months, it's a trend.
Yeah, and again, we'll see if Colorado continues it to be a trend because you're getting into a portion here where you're almost in mid-November and you're almost at American Thanksgiving. And I think it was Elliot Friedman on that side who threw out a tweet and said, if your team's not in the playoffs by American Thanksgiving on that side in between like the 24th and 25th, good luck making the playoffs. And actually, in part of his tweet, that's actually a pretty correct one. It's kind of a disturbing trend. If you don't get off to a good start and get a chance to get some points in November, through October and November, that can put you to a spot where you have to fight through other teams, and it can get really tough.
Yeah, if we remember, the 2015 Ottawa Senators had to overcome a 14-point deficit in the standings to make the playoffs. If this season goes any more sideways for the Oilers, as we at right now. I'm pulling this up for the moment, so just give me a second. Yeah, oh yes, wildcard standings. So currently, they are facing a 12-point deficit in the standings. It's going to take a Herculean effort, no matter what, to make the playoffs if you're the Oilers in an Ottawa Senator-style comeback.
Yeah, it is. And again, when you're speaking into that, I'll just mention this for the score line. As we talked about, there is one other game in action, and it'll lead right into the Oilers on this side because we still have a lot left to do on that. A lot of inventory to file. Again, as Alec mentioned, 40 seconds in, Matthew Barzal from Horvat and Ryan Pulock. And then it was Leon Draisaitl from Darnell Nurse at 14-17, as it's 13:59 left to go in the third. But again, I'll just draw right into what you talked about with the Edmonton Oilers. And they got a win over the Seattle Kraken, and it was big. But I saw that on social media. Again, you can find any of that stuff nowadays when the words were being mouthed after the Sharks to some of the coaching staff, and they go to Woodcroft, do you think it's over? And then Woodcroft kind of shook his head. But on this side, I'll just tell you this, Elwood, because I know you mentioned a little bit at the end of the first. I think it was the wrong move to go ahead and fire Jay Woodcroft. I think it's a sense of complete desperation. Because when you think about it, a couple seasons ago when you brought him in, he completely turned around everything the Edmonton Oilers were going to do. And we talked about it on the defensive side, and between the goaltending side that's been in the 860s, the defensive side that's been non-existent with the countless 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. Jay Woodcroft is not going to be able to fix those problems that feel fundamentally broken. So then when I get the comments and I hear it from Ken Holland, he goes, it's desperation mode. It's win now mode. We got to get this done now. Well, if it's desperation, why the heck you getting rid of a coach that kind of turned you around to begin with?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. You're getting rid of perhaps what was the best coach in the McDavid era. He was not the main reason that the Oilers were off to a slow start. The players bought into his ideas, his beliefs. He never lost the locker room a single bit. He's a well-respected guy in the coaching ranks. Why are you getting rid of him when he's a promising young coach? He's going to be a nice hire for whoever picks him up. Let's not lie to ourselves. But to get rid of Woodcroft entirely after a slow start, when he coached the team to the playoffs in back-to-back years, they fired the wrong guy.
I think so too, and I think there's going to be a situation where there's going to be a lot of other GMs, whether it's an assistant coach or anything else, as soon as all of the stuff is officially done with the Oilers and the contract and everything else is terminated. I think someone's going to pick them up, either as an associate head coach or a head coach somewhere else. And again, I'll just mention it like this before we move on. Let's look at some of the situations. And we know we talk about the contracts between McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. No problems there. I understand McDavid is injured at this point because he just has to be. They brought him back a little bit too early for the Heritage Classic to try to get a win over the Calgary Flames. So that was speaking of desperation right off the onset. But here's the problem that I have with Ken Holland. Again, I'll make this short because I mentioned it many times with the Red Wings, with Jonathan Ericsson, Jimmy Howard, Franz Nielsen, and the like, with some bad contracts. No disrespect to Darnell Nurse, but you can't have him in the 9-5 situation. You can't have Cody Ceci at about 3.5. You can't have some of these other players taking up all this points and cap space. It's working out with Zach Hyman right now, be another one of those names there, but it's not going to age well. It's going to age like spoiled milk. And when you continue to go ahead and take care of your players, yeah, they appreciate it. But you know those dollars and cents here and there, Alec, they add up. And when you go between $4, $5, $6 million extra that kind of seem wasted, that could be thrown to several other players, you're looking at a situation where Edmonton looks the way they do right now.
And the situation that they really, Ken Holland deserves to be at right now with the contracts and terms that he signed. The problem with Hyman isn't with the money, it's with the term. You get 7 years. Well, $5 million a year is actually fair value to Hyman, but 7 years is too much term for a power forward whose games decline right around the mid-30s. That's where their games truly decline. We may be seeing with Anders Lee, who signed a 7-year deal with the Islanders at $7 million a year. And this may be a recurring theme around. Jack Campbell may be the icing on the cake for Ken Holland. Darnell Nurse at $9 million a year. You expect $9 million a year for someone like Matthias Ekholm. not Darnell Nurse.
Yeah, and again, you don't get do-overs in those situations. So Edmonton, I don't care what they think that they can do. It's going to be tough. Again, we talk about the landscape of how many teams they got to pass. And look, here's a situation where I'll leave it at this. You could have entertained, and I know they're not going to do that. Edmonton fans won't do it, but hear me out on this. You could have entertained it a couple of years ago when you're thinking about trading one of Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid, because when they're giving up 100 and 120 points in the season, and they can't perform any better. I mean, they played like robots on that side, and they still lost. I understood that they ran into a hot Colorado team a couple of years ago that won the Cup, a Vegas team that won the Cup last year. But that's about as good as this team can do. They kind of play like a 1980s hockey team where it's all about goal scoring, not about defense or goaltending. That is their ceiling. But now if you thought about a situation, hey, I want to trade one of the two, well, it's hard to do that when they're injured and the production's not there right now.
And it's very hard to do so because these two are two of the top 5 players in the league. McDavid is still the best player in the league, but he's not playing like it right now because here's an insane stats. This is the first time we've seen him under a point per game since his rookie year. And we can't even point the finger on him because he's injured. He's playing visibly injured. Yes, he has a primary assist on the Zach Hyman power play go-ahead goal that was recent here as the Oilers go up 2-1. But you can't point the finger on McDavid and Draisaitl. Another thing that I'm noticing, team owner Daryl Katz is doing both McDavid and Draisaitl the same way Arte Moreno is doing Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout.
I think that's a very apropos comparison by you. Just because you have superstars doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be carried to the promised land, and it kind of seems like you're just driving them into the ground, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Let me just mention something to you right now. I'm going to throw out a name of a team, and you can tell me whether you agree or disagree. I know we can talk about the Vegas Golden Knights and the Boston Bruins for whatever reason on that side, because again, the Golden Knights have 25 points, which leads the league. On that side, the Boston Bruins are 11-1-2. But right now, for your money, and there's been injuries on that side, are the New York Rangers the best team in the league?
Say, if we're in a world where we don't have the Vegas Golden Knights and the Boston Bruins in the NHL, I would agree with you that the New York Rangers have emerged as the best team in the league right now because their defense has been vastly improved. Everything's coming together offensively. Alexei Lafreniere is finally emerging as the first overall pick that he was hyped up to be, and his confidence is through the roofs. He recently had what we could say was the best game of his career. 2 goals, the tying goal with 11 seconds left in regulation, and a filthy shootout winner to cap it off.
Yes, I saw that one. I was thoroughly impressed on that side. Again, I'm going to go ahead and go through the standings and just settle it back down. So at MSG, they're 5-1, and they're 6-1-1 on the road. That is absolutely spectacular. 9-0-1 in their last 10, plus 16 goal differential. And again, you're still dealing with injuries in Filipino, Adam Fox, and Igor Shesterkin. And the goaltending has been quietly getting it done alongside Jonathan Quick and company on that side. And they've looked really good. That's why I've thrown that out there. And the Florida Panthers, another team that's been on the rise now, 9-4-1 in the season, who are going to be getting Montour and Ekblad back.
This can bring them even more dangerous as the season goes along. I was thinking about the Panthers being a 2 seed. I didn't see the Bruins being the 1 seed in the Atlantic. I thought that position going to the Maple Leafs, but the Bruins have been a well-rounded machine. The Panthers still are. That upset over the Bruins plus the Stanley Cup final run that they had last season may have given them a reinvigorated sense of confidence going forward between Barkov, Tkachuk, Verhaeghe, Ekblad, and Montour coming back after they had those separated shoulders. Everything is going right in Fort Lauderdale and Sunrise in Miami.
So I didn't know this. Again, you look at the outstretched record for the LA Kings, and it looks really good at 8-3-3. But here's something that I didn't know, Alec, on this side. So the LA Kings, fantastic, 7-0-0 away from LA. but they're 1-3-3 at home. How do you explain that one?
I don't know, John. Sometimes it's the duality of franchise.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look good in some locations, other times you lay clunkers. I feel that's what's happening with the Kings. Being impressive on the road, laying clunkers at home. It just feels that way.
Yeah, we'll see if they can continue to turn that around because Alec and Cooper and I, we had talked about that on the Thursday side, especially with Andrei Kopitar, Drew Doughty, and Quentin Byfield. There's a ton of good talent here on the Kings, but that just doesn't make any sense considering how good that they are. We'll see if they can figure that out, but that has got to be one of the biggest schedule oddities I've ever seen on that side. 7-0 on the road, but 1-3-3 at home. I guess for the 25 times a game that they show Will Ferrell, he hasn't had much to smile about.
Oh, I guess he can join the Kings on road trips.
I think he's going to have to do so on that side. If we look at the wild card portion, again, Alec and I mentioned this as we're in the first intermission about the Pacific. And you think about Seattle, who's outside of it. You got Calgary, Edmonton, and San Jose. Even though San Jose is 2-12-1, they look better of late because they had a couple wins in a row. But that opens the door right now for the wild card. And I guess it's never too early to talk about it. But the St. Louis Blues, I know we mentioned this last time that they were having struggling scoring with Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. But after that 8-2, they're 7-5-1 in the season, and they're 5-2 at Enterprise right now. They haven't done so bad.
For all the criticism that Jordan Binnington has gotten, I got to tip my cap to him because he has kept his head low on most nights, and it's looking like he's back to rookie form between him and Joe Hofer, who have a .923 and .918 save percentage on the year thus far. Robert Thomas is so far living up to his contract. Kyrou, we need to see more of because he has 7 points in 13 games. If Kyrou is going to keep up production, he needs to be the player that they signed him to on that new contract. But Brayden Schenn, leading by example, as the new captain.
Yeah, I like that. As you said, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points for Schenn, 15 points in 13 games for Thomas. And that goaltending tandem, as you mentioned, between Hofer and Binnington with those numbers at .923 and .918, it's very difficult to find goaltending tandems that are both rolling at the same time. There's a lot of teams that are struggling a little bit on that end. And it looks like St. Louis quietly is getting the job done. Here's some good news for Edmonton since our last update. Zach Hyman and Connor McDavid. Yes, Connor McDavid gets on the board on the power play of this third of the season from Draisaitl.
He badly needed this one because he's below a point per game for the first time in his rookie season. And it's no secret that he was playing physically hurt. That's what we suspected when he was going below a point per game pace. We know that in the Heritage Classic, him coming back to the lineup was a panic move by the Oilers. And the Oilers, if they're going up to a panic scale of 11, well, right on cue, their power play is connecting like they never left last year at that historically good pace. But it's like they're going in 80s hockey, as you mentioned, scoring goals in bunches and then hoping for the best from their defense.
Well, here's the one thing that they can get good news of. Not only did Connor McDavid score, Ilya Sorokin's being outdueled by Stuart Skinner at his best game of the year right now. That is no questions asked. 30 out of 31 for a .968 save percentage.
This is the Stuart Skinner that we were hoping for this year, heading into his sophomore season after he had a Calder Trophy nomination last year where he lost out to Matty Beniers. But if they're going to get more games like this from Skinner, 30 of 31 thus far, if they hold this up, perhaps this could be a confidence booster.
So here's the thing for me. I know we laughed a couple weeks ago when I mentioned I only won one football game. So I could have won 11-2 today as far and actually win some money on the pool side. But the last 2 games I have looks like they're going to be losses because the Raiders beat the Jets. And I don't know what's going on in Buffalo right now, but they have the ball. They might lose to Denver. They're supposed to cover 7.5. They might fall to 5-5 on the season as they're down 21-15 with the ball with 5 minutes left. My goodness. Buffalo has been very underwhelming.
You know, I never thought I would say this, but it appears the Sabres are looking to have more hope than the Bills have right now.
Yes.
The Bills, from what we're seeing right now, there's several problems that are rising. Their game plan hasn't changed since 2020, as it mostly involves Josh Allen. The defense is undermanned as they lost their two key faces, plus the offensive play calling not up to par for these years. Their best shots, they had it and lost in 13 seconds 2 years ago. That was their best chance.
It's really hard, Alec, when you have superstar players. I mean, some people wouldn't call Josh Allen a superstar. I think he could definitely be a superstar quarterback. They got some primetime receivers and good defensive players who've been banged up this year. But, yeah, it's been underwhelming. And when you don't contribute and you have that type of roster, again, you're going to not have fun when you look on social media on that side. But that's where they are right now. I know we're going to be getting into the second period, so I'll let you take it away.
And it appears that throughout this first period, I was having trouble with my internet connection in and out. It was spotty, but it appears it's back to full strength, John. So
Okay.
Sam Malinsky make his NHL debut. He's the defenseman wearing number 70 in the cerulean and burgundy for the Avalanche. Nice feat for him.
I like that on that side. We'll see if that depth continues to shine through. Colorado needs a goal here. They're only down 1. They thought they were going to be down 2 after the short-handed one was called back.
So here we go, and certainly you nailed it there, John. That this could be very likely a 2-0 Kraken game had it not been for the waved off goal from Alex Wenberg. Brandon Tannen, who's looking for point number 2, would have been an assist here. David McKinnon with speed brings this up. Here's Valeri Nichushkin, brings it back to I said McDavid, I meant McKinnon. Now Makar onto the left side. The return pass for Makar up to the point and then to the left side, right back to Makar. Boo's raining down here at Seattle. They remember what happened in Game 3 last year. And Joey Accord all over this puck in this opening 45 seconds. Valeri Nichushkin trying to get the tip. Alec Nava, John Ott here, and Climate Push. We were here together in Game 3.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun on this side when you watch these teams play. That was a ricochet of a shot from Cale Makar, bounced right out in front for Valeri Nichushkin. That would have been a tough break for Joey Accord, but all of a sudden, here comes the puck, but he found it.
And you don't get the idea that Makar fired this wide intentionally so that Nichushkin can pick up the rubbish and clean it up right to the net. Good keep it by the Avalanche, but this did not land on one of the Avs skates. Wenberg clears this all the way down, and now Makar will start being sub as the Boos continue to rain down here. Drop pass for who I believe is Mikko Rantanen, will feed it to McKinnon onto the right side for Ryan Johansen, former Nashville Predator. Before that, he was a Columbus Blue Jacket. Low tie up along the far side. This puck exits. Nicely done by Seattle, but we may have a whistle here. Valeri Nichushkin may be in the middle of this. I think he's going to be sent to the box, so this cancels out the power play. 48 seconds of 4-on-4.
Yeah, you got the trip near the right side of the boards as Seattle was getting that out, so it does cancel it out. And Seattle will go to the power play there. It was Wenberg that got tied up a little bit, and Nichushkin got the stick pretty much where he should.
Yeah, the area where it's always dangerous when you're trying to go for the puck and you accidentally tie up another player's legs. That's the no-no area.
So what can Seattle do here on a 4-on-4? Hey, even for Colorado Avalanche, you got plenty of space to work with, and Colorado needs goals.
They need it badly because they had just 6 shots thus far. Even after this face-off win from Ross Colton, he scored the Stanley Cup winning goal in 2021 in Game 5, 1-0 victory for the Lightning over the Canadiens in that game. Colorado getting set. This is passed up to the left side for Bowen Byram. Byram on the entry feed. Pass it to himself off of Seattle skate, but gets cut away. And here's a breakaway opportunity for Oliver Bjorkstrand. Here's Bjorkstrand. Smoked it wide of the net. He had the game winner with 32 seconds left. 4 nights ago, he wanted to extend it to 2-0. Goodness.
Yeah, that seems like something he definitely could have got better on. I mean, hey, you got a 2-on-1. I wouldn't even mind Alec in the potential to shoot for a rebound there because McCann looked like he was matching step for step with Georgiev.
Well, Georgiev actually might have gotten a piece of this now that we've gotten a replay of it, but Bjorkstrand didn't want to go for that. He was going 5-0 the entire way.
Yeah, I think that's a good call by you. I saw that immediately too. I think Georgiev did just get a piece of it to brush it wide.
Yeah, indeed. It was Georgiev getting a piece. We're looking between this game, the one we're covering, and Islanders-Oilers. The Oilers having a 3-1 lead. Power play for the Kraken in 12 seconds as they cycle in the Colorado zone. Now 10 seconds. They move it out here and then kill some time up. Here's Westberg. He'll feed it over to the right side. Just as they're getting their power play unit on, they'll have a minute 13 of power play time to work with as Vince Dunn gets starting up Arizona. Now here's a drop pass for Jaden. Schwartz will lead the rush. Schwartz will beat this up off of Beniers. Beniers with the puck handling on his backhand. Will feed it over to the right side. Now moving down low for a pass to Schwartz. And then right back for McCann. Dunn and McCann go tape to tape. Here's McCann. Better for Yamamoto. That shot is blocked off the leg. He gets his own puck back. Over to Dunn. Will fed it over to Beniers. Beniers down low for it. 10 from Schwartz. And it's sent up wide of the net. Seattle still with this puck. Nice keep in for the moment. But the Avs clear all the way to Joey DeCord, who's the starter tonight. Philip Grubauer gets the day off unless DeCord gets pulled. Schwartz over to the left side for Beniers, and then the pass right back for Schwartz. Slice right between him and Byram. Colorado tries to clear, but nice keep in by the Kraken over at Gretzky's office. Beniers tied up by Miles Wood, and Wood forced that one out nicely. 5 seconds left. Maybe one last chance for a rush, but they'll get no shot on this power play to end it up. 11-6 is shots in favor of the Kraken so far in this game. 60-40 second period. Will Borgen will fire this over to the far corner of the ice. Yanni Ford keeps it down low. After it is McCann, who gets tied up and loses the puck. The Avalanche pick it up. Handing over the neutral zone, now moving it across is Nichushkin, who gets fought off by Kartye. Now behind in Gretzky's office, the Kraken take over. McCann fires this out. Avalanche pick it up. And what the Avs has to brace himself for a heavy hit. The cord from the trapezoid. He'll get it over to his left with his back line wall. Now turnover. Nichushkin stepped up by the cord. That could have been dangerous. McKinnon passed right back to the point. And no firing shot from Caleb Jones. Jones behind the net. He'll feed it right back for Nate McKinnon. Now here's Caleb. On for Makar. Makar fires it. And there's a deflection there that did not go towards the net. Seattle trying to pick this up and clearing. Cannot do so. Rantanen gets tied up and shoved right towards the core by one of the Kraken. Surprised that was not cleared out by Seattle, but now here's McKinnon, who tries to find Rantanen right back, but nothing else can be done there. But now picking this up is Caleb Jones. One-timer from the left circle. And there was one of the members of the Kraken that got a block, but nice cave in by Makar. Down low, tack, go, throw it! Wide and then the puck is loose. Something got to Makar. Bounced off of the cord pads. And still in the play. Makar, once again, tic-tac-toe. Nothing doing in the high slot. Seattle picks it up. McCann clears it down, but they cannot break. 5 minutes into the second period. Seattle now 10 blocked shots in this game. And it's just 5 minutes into the second period. Tomas Tatar on the chip and chase. Tries to go over to Drowan, but can't do so. Johansen keeps it in over to the far corner. Now Seattle sweeps it around and plays it out. Jaden Schwartz tied up by one of the Avs. That was Johansen. Now it comes back to Colorado end, and then fed up for Johansen. The court comes out. Risky move playing this out to one of the Kraken, but it paid off when the Avs falls down. Seattle plays it over to neutral ice, where it's picked up by Brandon Tanner. Tries to go around Toews. Toews rejects him on the shot, denying him a clean look. Puck still in the Colorado zone. Seattle keeps it in. Puck goes over to Yamamoto, former Oiler. One-timer! And that was blocked in front. Might have been some friendly fire, but we'll see who got the block. O'Connor on the move as he goes right around for Gretzky's office. And out in front for Johansen. And that shot was slowed down, making life easier for Joey DeCord. 6:04 into the second period as we head to commercial break.
Well, that was a great job by you, Alec, on that side, because the action was all over on that side. And if it wasn't for those heroic blocks, and you know what, we've seen a lot of them on the Thursday side, there could have been some goals because that was Colorado's best pressure. And Seattle had about 4 or 5 opportunities to get the puck out of the zone. They couldn't do it. Tic-tac-toe passing, as you mentioned, between MacKinnon, Rantanen, and Makar for shots that just missed. Seattle's probably fortunate this game isn't tied.
Yeah, Seattle has to be breathing a sigh of relief about the outcome of the second period thus far, because it's very different from what it was in the first period. They're up 1-0, but they're fortunate they're still 1-0 because that could have been, say, 2-1 Colorado.
Yeah, they were all over there on the pressure side of it. So let's say in our other game that's going on right now, Edmonton holds on to a 3-1 and they get a victory over the Islanders. What's up next for the Oilers? So you get a rematch against Seattle on the Wednesday side. We'll throw that one aside. They go on an East Coast road trip. It's not easy. Tampa, Florida, Carolina, Washington, and then they end the month with Vegas and Winnipeg. So one win, okay, you can breathe a sigh of relief, but the death schedule is coming for the Oilers.
That is indeed the toughest part of their schedule. You mentioned all these teams that they're going to face. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Florida, Carolina. Seattle they've taken care of business with because they know how to deal with. But Tampa Bay, Florida, and Carolina are all 3 teams that can deliver the pain to Edmonton if they're not careful.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. So again, you take the win today and then you realize the rest of the schedule, that's not going to be fun. A lot of these losses already for Edmonton are against teams they probably should have beaten.
Yeah, teams that they should have beaten, because we mentioned about the Oilers and how they're supposedly one of the favorites coming out of the West, but they're definitely not looking like that. It was a 1-goal game at the end, 4-3 in a losing effort, but San Jose was a team that was easily beatable. I mean, the Sharks were literally the worst team in the league with all those anchor contracts and where they're stuck at between rebuilding and in no man's land, yet it's a loss. You don't know how that happened. So we're back here in Seattle at Climate Pledge Arena. We were here covering Game 3 between these 2 teams, and the first round upset of the former defending champions, the Core, dangerously played over to Rantanen, but he got back in the crease. The Avs still had it, but McKinnon lost it. Now here comes an impending 2-on-2 for Yanni Gourde as he hands it up. Now pass in front for Bjorkstrand, gets blocked in front. Avs pick this back up. This is McKinnon. He'll just spin around opposite Bjorkstrand and then feed it up over to Toews, who goes right by Tolvanen. The corner will play this out nearly in the direction of Rantanen, but is kept in by McKinnon at the right point. Avs on the keep and over the left point. Shot right down to the far corner, where this is Mikko Rantanen. Lost the handle to Larsson, who picks it up. Former Oiler, he'll feed it back for Dunn in the trapezoid. 12:29 to go here, second period. The Kraken at the lone goal, courtesy of Brandon Tanev. That's the only goal. And there were many chances in which it could have easily been a tie game at 2-2. With 2 from the Kraken in the first period, 2 for the Avalanche in this period. Light shove over the Avalanche's end. Seattle trying to establish a forecheck, but this puck over at neutral ice, picked up by Colorado, moving this into O'Connor, spinning around Justin Schultz. Beat on over to the right side where Byram, centering feed, gets broken up. And this puck loose going over to near corner where this is, who I believe is Miles Wood. It is Wood, and he's up over to the left side. A long shot. The corner got a piece, and almost on the goal was Colorado. This should be a tie game by now, yet Joey DeCord somehow kept it out. What in the world?
I don't know, Alec, if that hit the outside of his right pad, but it was right in behind the net trying to bank it, and Colorado doesn't score.
We're not sure how this happens in the highest of mountains over the Rockies, but it is still 1-0 game here in Seattle. Jaden Schwartz gets cut off nicely by Byram and Caleb Jones. Younger brother of Seth, who's over in Chicago, he was teammates with him. Target long shot, and there might be someone getting a piece of it right in front. Colorado clears. Now it's a foot race for the puck, which will be won by Seattle. Over past the goal line, they'll get a face-off over the Colorado zone on this icing.
I don't want to put you right on the spot, Alec, on this side. Is This shot goes wide. We're going to take a look at it now. Oh, my goodness. That was stopped by the left pad of Gourde. This was behind the net. He sprawled. He makes a great save to keep that across the goal line. Wasn't Caleb also a member of the Blackhawks?
Yeah, he was a member of the Blackhawks. Brothers were he played with his brother, and at times the two brothers they would be playing at the top defensive unit together.
Yeah, I was just wondering how Colorado actually acquired him on that. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very intriguing. I was surprised when Chicago let go of Caleb Jones, but he was doing good with them on the offensive side as a serviceable defenseman. But that was very strange how they let it go. Now here comes the Kraken here on the offensive zone. Yamamoto's turnaround shot is stopped by Georgiev. Picked up now by Kartye, who let this one go for Larsson. Larsson right into the left circle, shoots, save, Georgiev, rebound! Georgiev got the 1-2. Matt scramble for the puck. It's still loose. Georgiev swallows it up, and everyone can exhale.
Well, I got a headlock there for Yanni Gourde and Bowen Byram, but Alexander Georgiev says, any saves that you can make, Joey, I could do the same. Get about 3 of those. Kartye crisscross. Larsson, nice little toe drag to get around Drouin near the left side. Beniers tries to stuff home the rebound, and then another opportunity before the headlocks ensue. Alexander Georgiev, have yourself a day.
He's been facing all sorts of chaos from the Seattle end. If there's a matchup that he likes, it is the Kraken, because he has posted stellar numbers when facing Seattle in 2 career starts. 198 GAA, 945 save percentage. We're back underway here. Oh, there's a false start on the face-off, so let's wait some more.
Those numbers that you brought up are amazing, Alec, because as you just said, the type of opportunities that he's facing, to have those type of numbers, I mean, that's almost robotic.
It's basically so amazing with this because, let's not lie, those are basically Igor Shesterkin, Linus Omar type numbers when you look back at the last 2 years. Oleksiak from the top of the left circle, easy save there from Georgiev. Right over to Seattle zone. This is Will Morgan on a long shot that goes wide. Rather of a purpose there, trying to get someone. Bjorkstrand passes it. There is someone in a backhander from Tolvanen. Quickly, the reactionary save from Georgiev to seal it.
I guess that all starts with purpose and preparation for Georgiev. It's madness in his own end. And Tolvanen, pretty much this gets flubbed by Cale Makar. And then pick right up. Off the backhand chance, and Georgiev made that look all too easy.
I mean, it may look just simple in the flash of an eye.
Yeah, he's been under siege right now, Alec. He's putting on a kind of a heroic performance here. This should easily be a game you mentioned. Could be 2-2 on both sides. Hell, we could even say 4-2 Kraken, but it's 1-0 with 10:20 left in the second.
Yeah, he has stopped 16 of 17 Seattle shots. He has looked that good for the Kraken. So Jaden Schwartz, he was on the faceoff circle because Shane Wright got tossed out, loses it. Colorado has it. Georgiev places one out, but it's kept in by Schwartz over at the far side. Downloads goes to Wright. Pass intended for Schwartz, but too far on the pass, but Colorado can do nothing on this opportunity. Schultz in some trouble, almost gave it away. Now he does. This is Mikko Rantanen spinning over the far side. And backhands this one over to the left point. I believe it's controlled by Bowen Byram. And someone gets knocked out from the Colorado side. I don't believe there's going to be a penalty for this. Olsen brings it back for Byram. A long shot that's blocked in front. Jack Johnson now on this pass. Johnson over to Byram. Byram stick handling it. And now on down low, centered on the front. And there was no tip in at the slots. Seattle picks it right back up. Shane Wright almost got leveled there, but cleared it out just in time. Jack Johnson on the feed. And the entry side, Logan O'Connor rushing to this puck, backhands it on, but this lands over stick. Oh, big hit on Brian Dumlin. Just as it's corralled down by Malinsky. Long shot, that's again, and stopped by Joey DeCord after and big hit on Brian Dumlin by Tomas Tatar.
Well, we don't have as many goals as we did on the Thursday side just yet, but the intrigue level is still at an all-time high. Both of these goaltenders, especially Alexander Georgiev, have been special right now. And that's the reason why it's a 1-0 game. But again, we talked about that pressure just before in the first commercial break by the Avalanche, bringing it all back up. And the Kraken said, I'll raise you a few chips, and we'll throw some shots at Georgiev and see what happens in the wash here. This game's been good right now, Alec. I know you haven't had a chance to call any goals just yet, but the action's been all over you in this second period. It's been a good game so far.
It's been such a great game thus far, much like the previous game.
Yes, it has been. And I'm going to go ahead and just give you a bit of good news here, Edmonton, just for today. It's a 4-1 victory against the New York Islanders. Pick up a big 2 points.
They needed this one. They were to right this ship. We talked about comebacks in the standings. They're going to have to jumpstart this comeback down 12 points from the last wild card spot if they were to come back.
So I'll have to say this officially on this side. I went 10-3 this week. I hope 10 wins is enough to win the pool because that gets me like $60. That's almost enough to buy a video game nowadays, so that'd be good. But Denver, they get a 24-22 win in Buffalo. My goodness. Buffalo now, let me make sure that I get this correct. They fall to 5-5. Denver's won 3 in a row. They're 4-5, but 5-5 really for the Bills. They might not even make the playoffs.
It feels like, if we're looking at it this way, nothing has really changed in terms of game plan for the Bills. But if you're a Denver sports fan or someone who resides in the state of Colorado watching both the Broncos and the Avalanche at the same time, you got to be feeling happy that the Broncos are getting somewhere with this team between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Some sense of confidence for them going forward if they want to make the playoffs for the first time since Peyton Manning's last hurrah. Something for them now. We'll see if the Avalanche can follow it up.
Yeah, we'll see for Denver again. They give up like a 60 burger against Miami. That team is long gone right now.
Yeah, that team long gone. Long gone are the struggles in the early parts of the season. Now they seem to be riding the ship at perhaps the right time. We'll see how the Avalanche can do to follow it up. As the Kraken, they're over at the opposite end. Alec Nava and John Ott here, play-by-play in color here for the second period. As this is now Jared McCann on the outside, or is it Jaden Schwartz? Here's a long shot from Vince Dunn. Easy save from Alexander Georgiev. Catching of his glove. That was Alex Wenberg picking up this bucket on the far side.
Yeah, Georgiev could do, Alec, with a couple of easy saves on this side. I think he's had a lot of pressure on top of him in the second period. And again, as you mentioned, he's every bit the reason why this game is still up for grabs, honestly.
Yeah, this game still down to the wire between Colorado and Seattle, like it has been every game in the playoffs. We mentioned about tight games. This was another one. Quick shot from Schwartz. That one blocked in front. And this one going to be cleared to the neutral zone. Seattle has to restart. Adam Larsson slapping this in. Georgiev tried to slow it down. Colorado looks to clear, but they're in trouble as this is held in nicely at the line. Schwartz swipes it forward to keep this in, winning the battle opposite Bowen Byram. But the Avalanche, they're helped out there, and they skate this out. Lead the rush now on the chip and chase as this goes over to Gretzky's office with a little light tap from Miles Wood. Bowen Byram tried to go right back. Logan O'Connor thought about it, but he let this one go. And Miles Woodson picking this up is Joey DeCord to seal it up.
I'd like to see Joey DeCord make the simple play and go for a face-off. We know that he loves to play the puck. I thought there was a couple situations in this game. Got a little dicey back there. But the only reason why DeCord does that, because you got 32 teams in the NHL, and Seattle last year was almost dead last on the draws.
And it feels for Seattle, they may need to turn around those faceoff numbers. They got up to 49.5 entering this game, so got some faceoff improvements down the line. As there's a long shot, rebound in front, bad scramble for the puck, nice score! Colorado with the equalizer.
Well, we just talked about faceoffs and how important they are. Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, that line gets it done. The Moose ties the game at 1. Mad scramble, couple rebound opportunities, and Colorado finally gets pay dirt.
The goal that they desperately needed, even though we talked about how top-heavy this team can be, of course, it's going to be one of their star players who's going to equalize this play. The puck was right behind Joey Decord, and Mikko Rantanen saw this the entire way. There was basically nothing that Decord could do to stop this puck.
Not a chance. Good move there by Devon Toews to fire it on. Nathan MacKinnon with the fire sale. Mikko Rantanen cleans it up.
Picking up the rubbish and putting it right in its place. Tie hockey game in Seattle. And if it's going to be the way that we could be, perhaps each one of these games have pretty much been decided by one goal. The only time it's not Colorado won 4-1 in the first game. Can't believe it's the final regular season game between these two teams. And Seattle iced this puck, not the way they wanted to go 7:26 left.
Nope, you don't want a mirror image of what just happened essentially like 20 seconds ago with the offensive zone draw for Colorado. They could probably do the same thing. They get it fired on net from Devon Toews. That same line's out there right now, so Yanni Gourde's got to win a key draw.
Yeah, Yanni Gourde being part of the most consistent line for the Kraken. You could argue between him, Eeli Tolvanen, and Oliver Bjorkstrand, because that's been the most consistent line for Seattle. They've been tightly knit together and still producing in bunches as a unit. Mikko Rantanen from Gretzky's office, errant pass, but this goes right back to himself. Will Borgen cut him off there, but this swipe from Seattle goes over to Devon Toews at the right point. Held in, and now here's Rantanen being forced to the point, and he gets tripped up. Is this going to be a penalty? Yes, it will be. This will negate the 2-on-1. The Colorado Avalanche head back to the power play. Eeli Tolvanen clearly tripping him up. That's the most obvious penalty that there can ever be.
Yeah, it is, Alec, and I'm a little bit concerned now if I'm Seattle. Again, Rantanen, good job by him. Not only does he get the first goal of the game, it's the second penalty that he's drawn. But Seattle looks to be in trouble right now, and this power play could prove to be big for Colorado.
Yeah, even though the Avalanche, they've been rather latched here on the man advantage in these last 7 games. Remember, at their very best, this is a unit that can capitalize on all cylinders. We've seen what they can do 2 years ago, and they're looking to get back at those levels back when they had Gabe Landeskog, a fully healthy Gabe Landeskog, that is. They're really wanting him back. Perhaps that presence is really felt, and a quick shot, quick save by Decord. Not much, just a face-off.
It's right on the catching glove from Rantanen there. It's amazing to me over the last couple of seasons, as you mentioned, with Landeskog out, you get Rantanen, and his goal scoring has jumped exponentially.
Yeah, he had a 100 and he had a 50-goal season for the Avalanche last year. And I can't believe that he's now the franchise leader in single-season goals record. We have all those years of Joe Sakic and Peter Forsberg at their disposal. Nichushkin, right back with Makar. One time with McCann. That goes wide to net. Nichushkin picks it up, tries to go for Makar, but this pass gets blocked by Wetberg, and he'll fire this down the distance. Makar picks this up. You know those moves are going to be raining here in Seattle. They remember what happened in Game 3 when he got that 1-game suspension. With a hit, Makar so levered to the net. Nice poke from the core to keep this a tie game here in Seattle. Puck over at the near boards, controlled by Nichushkin, having trouble with it. Gets it over to the left side where it's Makar. Stick handling his way down low. Johansen, right back for Makar. Now here's Rantanen. Back for Makar. Tic-tac-toe to Rantanen. These two playing catch with one another. Back at the deep point, here's McKinnon again. The cord. Stopping an 89-mile-an-hour blazer.
Gotta tell you, Alec, I don't think there's any more electrifying defenseman than Cale Makar. We never got to watch Bobby Orr, but the end-to-end play that he just made there, if it wasn't for Decord with the outstretched stick, he could have taken that himself and scored.
We remember about defensemen that can bring in two-way play to utmost degree. One of the few defensemen who can produce highlight reel plays on the offensive zone, and then on the other side, he can basically shut down guys like Connor McDavid on his own.
Yeah, he's a very special player, and considering you got Rantanen, McKinnon, and Cale Makar, it's pretty ridiculous for Colorado if you think about it.
Have all this talent at their disposal. I mean, it's never enough talent you have if you're the Avalanche here, controlling on the power play, and they score! The second goal for Colorado. This is a man advantage marker, and the one that they've been looking for. It is
Rebounds, 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 and again, what we talked about, face-off opportunities. Ross Colton is the one that get it done. They get a chance to move us across on the D side. It hits Colton. He gets the rebound, finishes it off. But Seattle, they've been punished in their own end on draws, and it bites them again. It's 2-1 Colorado.
Always about faceoffs. Every play starts and ends with faceoffs in the offensive zone. This time it did once again. Ross Colton gets the puck, picks up the log jam, and banks it in. These last two goals, pretty much in a similar fashion. And John.
Yeah, they are. And again, that's why you talk about Seattle and some of their numbers on the draws. And again, some people think it'll be underrated, but it's worked out well for Colorado. And here they come again.
Yeah, it's been working out to perfection here for the Avalanche as there's a long shot from the right point. Alexander Georgiev saw it all the way. Jaden Schwartz may have got a stick on it. No matter. But Ross Colton breaks the ice on the power play. And one that they really needed. It is 2-1. All right.
Again, as we go to the break, and we just talked about it, 2 for 29 up until that latest marker there for the Avalanche on the power play. 2 big goals there. Again, 2 of the same way as Alec just mentioned off the draws, a little rebound opportunities, a little cleanup there. Can the Kraken respond? I thought for the most part, throughout this game, they played better than the Avalanche have, but a couple quick strikes, maybe a couple careless penalties on that side. But again, I will give full marks to Mikko Rantanen because he's drawn 2 of them in this game.
Yeah, full marks indeed, because Rantanen, he's been playing very disciplined hockey throughout this match. Left and right, he's been very noticeable in the offensive zone, where he picked up the rubbish, put it right in the trash bin for the tying goal, and then drew the penalty on Seattle that led to the power play goal from Colton. It wasn't the deflection initially that the court took care of, but Colton was right there on the doorstep, right in front of that storm door.
Yes, he was. Mikko Rantanen got his 10th at 12:05 from McKinnon and Devon Toews. Ross Colton answered on the power play from Tomas Tatar and Devon Toews at 14:12. They got both of those in the second. And now, again, from what we talked about in the first, with Brandon Tanev getting the opener off the rebound. A lot of rebound goals today. That's 3 of them on both sides from Vince Dunn and Alex Wenberg. That goal that was called back, and good job by Jared Bednar. This is going to be big because it could have been a 2-2 game.
It could be had it not been for the overturned goal. Now, we mentioned about the challenge from Bednar. Would have made more sense if it was offside instead of goaltender interference. But still, it's a high-quality hockey game between 2 high-quality franchises.
Yeah, it surprised me how good Seattle has been, especially from the last year's side. And whatever they're doing against Colorado, they play some good matchups, but now they need to find an answer.
And now they need that answer to come here, no matter what it's the second period or the third period. There is an offside with 5:20 to go here in the second period as Joel Kiviranta, he takes the ice. One of the more unexpected names to be a hero in the playoffs because he had a hat trick, Game 7 for Dallas against Colorado, and the third goal was the overtime winner.
So most goals since the start of the 21-22 season, Mikko Rantanen 101. Only Matthews, Draisaitl, Pastrana, and McDavid have more with 113 and 111 respectively.
It's hard to believe with goal scoring coming up bigger and bigger throughout the seasons that we would get 2 60-goal scorers last season between Connor McDavid and David Pastrnak as the Kraken iced this. But still, it's unbelievable that we had 2 60-goal scorers last season, 3 in the last 2 years.
Yeah, you didn't think about it since what? Austin Matthews and Steven Stamkos from before that. So it's getting more exceedingly rare as I think a lot of these good teams, Alec, they can roll out all 4 lines and do damage more so than just superstars.
I think we're getting to the point where teams are wanting to go up and see what the Vegas Golden Knights have to offer and see what they have. As Jaden Schwartz, a howitzer that is wide in the net. He wanted to blast that past Alexander Georgiev. Schwartz falls down onto all 4s as Colorado clears it down. Nicely done to not be an icing. Headman pass. This is, I believe, this may be Yanni Gourde, but there's a puck battle behind the net. Colorado wins it, but Gourde cannot keep it in. He cannot keep this in. Seattle has to exit because of the delayed offside, which gets canceled out. Now the entry fee to Rantanen. Lost it to Adam Larsson. Now over to the red line just to go over to neutralize with 4:30 left in the second period. The core played this out. Ryan Johansen closing onto them. Got it off just in time to Larsson. Could have been dangerous. And a giveaway here. This is Johansen leaving his value coming in. Jakar saved the rebound, picked up. And now this been on over to the point. Been out time to shoot that. Polinski over to the left side. Here, Bowen Byram, long shot. Nothing going there. There was no deflection as the Kraken picked this one up. Gourde in some trouble. He'll lead this over to a streaky Oliver Bjorkstrand. Bjorkstrand shot. And that went over Georgiev's glove, but not caught. And Bjorkstrand gets taken down towards the far side by Polinski as Colorado elevates this out to Seattle's zone. They pick it up. Spinorama from Grant as he gets taken off for a ride in the court. Bullies is behind for Borgen, former Buffalo Sabre. Borgen over to his right side. And now the Kraken will get things started up. That lead pass was cut off, but Seattle fires this right down. Georgiev ceases to his left. He'll force a face-off as Shane Wright was closing in.
I know it's a couple minutes ago before we got into this from the previous break on that side, but he had Jaden Schwartz right in off a defensive zone draw that he could have pretty much walked right in. He went for the slap shot instead. Do you think if he had to do that over, he might go one-on-one against Gourde?
Yeah, he was going for the fast goal. That's like an old 1990s, 2000s style of goal.
Yeah.
Going back to the old days where physical hockey was at its peak, and you see types of shots like these. Howitzers no matter where.
So we'll see if Shane Wright can go ahead and get some draw. I haven't seen a lot of Wright and Winterton in this fourth line side, but they're out there right now with 3:29 in the second.
They're getting limited ice time throughout this game. It's a young fourth line. It looks very different from what we're accustomed to seeing between Brandon Tanev, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, and what usually would be Kyrou Yamamoto's up in the first line as Colorado ices this. But it's a very young fourth line between Kartye, Wright, and Winterton.
And again, from what you talked about, if you're Dave Hakstol and you want to make sure you keep those boys away from MacKinnon, Rantanen, Makar, guys that can do some heavy damage because they can make the youngsters look like fools in a couple of seconds.
And that was a good face-off win. Jared McCann got it off. Seattle keeps this in after that save. Justin Schultz down low. And these young guys, they can be very dangerous no matter the situation because they're out here for blood. Deep prospect pool nonetheless takes into account Riker Evans and Jagger Fergus. From Gretzky's office, Alex Wenberg tied up by Ross Colton. Nice addition coming over from Tampa Bay. To account for the loss of Alex Newham, Justin Schultz goes for a ride as he is stripped by Caleb Jones, but now this comes over to one of the Kraken. And nothing going on that shot. Georgiev might have got a piece. Here's Logan O'Connor. Headman pass cut away by Dumoulin. And the Avalanche were offside. Good job there by Dumoulin to defend the rush between Wood and O'Connor.
It was good open-ended action there on both sides. And again, when I'm looking at the lineup side, and they see Alexiak and Borgen or Dumoulin and Schultz, you brought up Riker Evans, and I got a chance to watch him a little bit, the Coachella Valley Firebirds and the Hershey Bears and the Game 7 side. He looked pretty good, but I know the 19-year-old still got a little bit of seasoning to do. He was a good offensive defenseman, but I would expect maybe to even see him next year for Seattle.
Yeah, we could expect to see Evans next year if he were to compete for a roster spot to one of these defensemen go for the Kraken. Just remember, Vince Dunn with the first ever $7+ million contract per year in Kraken franchise history. After you pass Larsson, nice block from Byram to cut that one off. And the pass after that goes absolutely nowhere. The core way out of his net to handle it. That could have been dangerous as Vince Dunn spins and twirls around Nichushkin. Finds his partner side of the Seattle zone. The Kraken bring it out. And a little shove that's not going to get called for penalty. The Kraken picking this up. They're having trouble controlling. Being hustled by Bjorkstrand, brought in by Gourde, who taps this in on his backhand, being shoved aside by Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson trying to take this puck up for Colorado. The Kraken bring it back up. Olesia, long shot kicked out by Georgiev. The Kraken, a little shove there, and a penalty is going to be called against the Avalanche. It's going to be a cross check towards the boards. Very visible.
Yeah, this final minute in this second period is picking up, as you said, Alec, and we're seeing these two teams getting that ebb and flow. It looked like Colorado had taken it a little bit with a couple goals, especially on the power play side. Seattle's looking to answer here. They know that a goal critical in this third period is Devon Toews. My, oh my, he smoked Yamamoto.
That's the wrong guy you would want to have in the penalty box in a situation where you're on the penalty kill. But that was still a vicious hit by Toews on Yamamoto. Still, when your guy shorthanded, and with him committing a penalty like that, this is the wrong guy you want to send to the penalty box. Because that's an ill-advised play with Yamamoto with his back towards the board, back turned towards you, and then you shove him towards the boards. He has little to do to brace himself. There's not a lot he can do to that.
No, and it really isn't any point in the play where he's going to make an impact on that side, and you're losing one of your better defensemen.
With that all come to mind. Vince Dunn, tic-tac-toe to Beniers, pass down low. As a turnaround pass from Yamamoto gets broken up, and Colorado doing the job here on the PK. Devon Toews at the penalty box, no problem. We'll play up for him to account for his loss over when he is sitting right down, make him proud. Bowen Byram sweeping this around, but this does not get cleared. Yamamoto, nice keeping there, but this Kraken, they're in trouble. Turnaround pass from Wenberg. Down low, this goes over to Yamamoto. Now back over to Dunn. Back this goes to Yamamoto. Here's Schwartz. Jaden Schwartz on for Tolvanen. Tolvanen tries to go right back where Schwartz missed him by several feet. As the Kraken see this one get clear right down. One last chance for a rush here in the final seconds. Offside as one of the Kraken was pivoting. You got to skate forward, Schwartz, not backwards.
Yeah, we had a couple Seattle Kraken looking to press in the final 5 seconds. Almost looked like the whole, at least half the team was offsides there.
Yeah, it looked like half the team, they were offside on that sequence because, I feel the Kraken, they were a little jumpy on trying to get this last opportunity in the period. But no matter, they'll have 1 minute of power play time to carry over, or 59 seconds of it, to begin the third period should they not score here.
One more face-off here for you, and we'll see if anything happens out of it with 5 seconds.
It appears there isn't anything happening. That last face-off, won by Colorado. They clear it down, and boy, we can talk about these face-off numbers all day. The Avalanche dominating on that category. 2-1 they lead heading into the third.
Yes, they do, Alec, and let's throw this down there officially. It says 23-19 on the ESPN side, but it's one of those situations, Alec, where I'm in complete lockstep with you. How many of those face-off wins for Colorado was in the offensive end, especially on the power play side? Many of them. There were important draws that Colorado won, and both of those draws that we can talk about in this second period happened to be 2 goals for Colorado, and that's not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence that Seattle, they were on the wrong end of those face-offs at the Colorado offensive end. And with those converting into hit goals or cleaning out the dirt goals on rebound chances, some of the dirty area goals, as old school hockey heads would say. Getting to the front of the net and deflect those in or pick up the rebounds and put them right in the back of the net. Old school hockey style.
Yeah, those are important goals. No matter how you slice them up, it doesn't always have to be pretty. You got to get to the important areas, and you got to score. And that's what Colorado did. Again, they had a push that they had to survive from the Kraken maybe for about 5 minutes time. But I would say maybe the last 5 or 6 minutes of that second period were all Colorado. And they were able to find the back of the net twice. we'll go ahead and give you the scoring reset on that side before we flip into the NBA end just to see what happened. But it's Mikko Rantanen, his 10th for MacKinnon and Toews at 12:05. Ross Colton at 14:12 on the power play from Tomas Tatar and Devon Toews. So Toews got a couple points. Toews is in the penalty box right now, as Seattle's got about a minute power play carryover time, as Alec mentioned. Your particulars, the shots now are dead even at 19 apiece. Shots on goal. Hits are 11-7 in favor of the Avs. Faceoffs 23-19 for Colorado as well. Block shots 12-9 for Seattle. But the biggest block shot of that second period, how about that play from Bowen Byram?
Yeah, that was the biggest one of the period. Bowen Byram sliding over because Adam Larsson, if he had a clean look, that would have been a great chance for him. Perhaps maybe even a tying goal for Larsson. But Byram, for as promising that he looks at the defensive core, he's showing that he's continuing to be a staple of this Avalanche defensive core. We mentioned that he has struggled with concussion issues in the past, but so far it's not a problem for him.
No, he's still being able to play at the breakneck pace and do everything he needs to do defensively. And again, for everything we talked about and some of the issues and concerns, you want to make sure that you have a player that's still firing on all cylinders and regardless of everything he's dealt with in the past, can still bring it because the NHL level is a fast and physical game. But Bowen Byram, he looks really good. And when you compare him with Samuel Girard and Cale Makar and Devon Toews, I mean, Joe Sakic has an embarrassment of riches not only on the offensive end, but the defensive end as well.
And yeah, people talk about the offensive end for the Avalanche most of the time, which makes the defensive end for Colorado very underappreciated between Devon Toews, Cale Makar, of course, the superstar, Sam Girard, Bowen Byram, and you account for the former Anaheim Duck, Josh Manson, who has been known as a defensive man, but he can also chime in on the offensive side. And Jack Johnson, even though they don't need him to contribute in big ways, he's not being asked to do that as the former third overall pick. He's contributing in ways that is beneficial to the team as a third pairing defenseman, as the sixth defenseman to the team.
And that's exactly what you bring him in for, the veteran experience and be able to kind of manage the game in the situation where you need to be alongside the tremendous talent that Colorado has. That's exactly what he's being asked to do, and he's going to fit that role. Let's go into the NBA scoreboard. There's a lot of games here today on both sides. That's why we went with the Avalanche and the Kraken again, because how could we not, especially from the Thursday side? We'll get into some finals here. So we'll start from the bottom on this side from the ESPN portion of it. The Bucks at Fizzer Forum, they get a 118-109 victory over the Chicago Bulls. I'll try to make sure that I don't miss the top-end point getters. Nikola Vucevic here in a double-double, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists with a steal and a block. On the other side, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 13-22 from the field with 11 rebounds and 35 points as the Bucks take a 118-109 victory over the Bulls.
Giannis still proving himself that he is still worthy of conversation for the MVP race, no matter if the discussion is between Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. We can talk about all of the MVP race between Jokic and Embiid because this seems to be an annual trend now with these two centers being in the MVP race. But don't count out Giannis. He's a two-time MVP winner himself. Him getting a double-double, but not only him, but also Bobby Portis with 19 points, 10 rebounds off the bench.
Yeah, he's been really good off the bench, Bobby Portis, especially shooting the ball as well this year from some of the games that I've watched. There's a couple high points getters between teams that I know we don't talk about very often, but still nonetheless good breakout games today. Kyle Kuzma had 34 for the Washington Wizards, but they go down 111-107. Washington falls to 2-8. Toronto improves to 5-5. They got the same record as the Bills on that side. Pascal Siakam, though, this is a heck of a breakout game, a plus 18 in the plus minus, 39 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. He looks like the playoff performer several years ago with Kawhi Leonard. We need more games like this.
More spicy pee, please. More of those spicy buckets from Pascal Siakam as he's been providing, showing that he's a true number one option in Toronto. And I've been really high on him heading into these past seasons of life after Kawhi, and he's been picking up the pace with Toronto. Kuzma, on the other hand, he's looking like a legitimate number one option with Washington. Perhaps that Russell Westbrook trade with him going over to the Lakers wasn't so bad after all for the Wizards, with Kuzma being the biggest beneficiary of it.
Yeah, as you said, you get a chance to showcase your skills, and then for whatever reason, after when it's all said and done, hey, someone can put you up on the trade block side of it. You can get something of high value, and then you can go ahead and showcase your talents elsewhere. That's the way it works in the league.
Yeah, because we talked about Kuzma and how he's been a very much improved player. Him looking like the player that he was hyped up to be when he was in his younger days in a Lakers uniform before Anthony Davis came along, in which he went down to being, say, the fourth or fifth option on the team.
Right.
And he was not getting opportunities with the Lakers at all in his later years there. That led to the trade to get him to Washington, and he's been looking like their best player thus far.
Yes, he has. One more final here for you before we get into it in progress. 114.98. The Boston Celtics improved to 8-2 on the season as they win in TD Garden. New York falls to 5-5. But a bit surprised that New York's only 5-5, but it's still early. Julius Randle had 25 for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson had 26, but he was a minus 20 on the floor. That's not something that you usually see. On the other side for the Boston Celtics, good balanced scoring. Jaylen Brown with 22, Kristaps Porzingis with 21, and Jason Tatum had himself a game as he usually does. 35 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists as Boston takes a 114-98 win over New York.
Whenever we go and watch the Celtics, we get a chance to watch Tatum do his magic in his years right after when he played that 1 year at Duke.
Right.
And he's been proving himself perhaps as the best player in his draft. And he and Jaylen Brown meshing together in a 1-2 chemistry with one another. Brown got that big bag in the offseason, and he's been proving himself to be the ever so reliable number 2 option to Tatum, who's the number 1. And Drew Holiday, who came over from Milwaukee via Portland in the Damian Lillard trades, he's been looking like the stopgap defensive ace to fill in for Marcus Smart. The Knicks, on the other side, I'm surprised that 5-5 is the outcome they're having right now after they made the playoffs last year. Jalen Brunson's still the number 1 option. But with him having 45 in the in-season tournament opener, it's always a bright spot for the Knicks no matter what. But this is just, I don't know what to say of it, because it feels like they didn't get anything from their bench. Not even Emmanuel Quickly goes 1 for 10.
Yeah, that doesn't really work out very well. I'm looking at the Knicks' schedule as far as some of their wins and losses. So they lost 108-104 to the Celtics to open. They lost again to the Pelicans. They split against the Cavs. They lost to the Bucks. So at least it was a second loss to the Celtics today. So at least between 2 with the Celtics, 1 with the Bucks, 1 with the Pelicans, and 1 with the Cavs on that side, they have played a difficult portion of their schedule. They can say that. At least we can throw that out there. But their wins were against the struggling Clippers, the new-look Spurs, the Hornets, and the Hawks one other time. So, yeah, they've lost some games that maybe they wish they could have won against tough opponents, and their wins are probably against teams that they should beat. But I still expect the Knicks to do a little bit better than 5-5. And the one score in progress, as we're about 9:30 left to go thereabouts in the fourth, the Kings opening up a can on the Cavs, 112-92. We'll see who's the leading scorers here. De'Aaron Fox, he does draw in the lineup. I think he just came back from injury. He's got 23. Keegan Murray with 20. And on the other end, balance scoring across the board for the Cavs as they're getting kind of lambasted here. Donovan Mitchell took 19 shots to get 19 points. Max Strus, former member of the Miami Heat, has 14. Jared Allen's got 12.
Yeah, basically, both these teams are going with a by-committee approach on their starting lineups. But the Kings, I feel they're seeing this more to success than the Cavaliers in that sense, because Fox, 23, Murray with 20, Domantas Sabonis with 18, Kevin Herter with 17. Then you have Malik Monk and Sasha Vezenkov with 11 each off the bench in 17 minutes. The Cavaliers, they have double-digit scorers between Mitchell, Strus, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and then Karis LeVert off the bench. And that's about it for Cleveland with their scoring. Because Sacramento, they're looking like the team that they were last year in this game.
So I was contemplating doing the game tomorrow in between the Denver Nuggets and the LA Clippers because that one's on TNT. It's going to be a late game on that side, so I'm kind of flip-flopping whether or not I'm going to do it. The only reason why, the LA Clippers look really, really bad right now. They have the James Harden trade, but they've lost 5 in a row, 130-125 to the Lakers, 111-97 to the Knicks, 193 against the Nets, 144-126 against the Mavs. And the Grizzlies couldn't even win a basketball game half the time I talked to you on that side. They lost to them 105-101. James Harden trade right now not working out so well as the Clippers are 3-6.
Oh, and you think that things would go from bad to worse after the Harden trade. It feels like, in my opinion, the Clippers have too many ball-dominant players.
Yes.
They have 4 of them between Kawhi, PG, Russ, and Harden. And this trade is working out better for the 76ers, not because of who they added, but because of who they subtracted to allow a full breakout from Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, you nailed it on that side. That's really all there is to it there for Nick Nurse and company to be able to pretty much have the emergence of Tyrese Maxey, who has been, I'm not going to say nothing short of a revelation, but he really has been that good. And you have Joel Embiid. I mean, let's be honest here, Alec. You'd think the James Harden, Joel Embiid situation, for every time James Harden, he's been an MVP, but he's got a trade request 4 different times. He's got to go wherever he's want to go. But you think that should have worked out perfectly.
And it should have, because that would have been the ideal point guard center combo for Philadelphia. But it really hasn't, because Harden's numbers, they decline every year. And I wanted to know how much of a point decline going from, I know the low was a lot in Houston, but 36 points per game after 30 points per game in seasons, and then you followed up 34 points per game. That's not easily sustainable in the NBA. That's Michael Jordan's scoring numbers. And his numbers came right back down to earth, which was expected. But I didn't see a sharp decline from Harden's form as we did dating back to his days with the Rockets, because 36 points per game, that's insane in a season. The highest we've seen since MJ himself, his airness.
Yeah, and again, I remember a couple of years ago when they talked about an interview in between the jump when Rachel Nichols was still on ESPN. I think they interviewed McGrady and Kobe on that side. And he flat out said, like, Harden's a great player, but the hero ball stuff's not going to work. And the way that it's worked out right now in the 4 games since the trade, James Harden's only averaging 13.5 points to go with 5 rebounds and 4.5 assists. To go from that number to 13.5, that is not going to get it done right now.
That's basically the literal definition of falling down to earth and then some. And then you're going up against the defending champions, and that's no easy task because of the Nuggets, who have recently signed Mike Malone to an extension, and a good move on that part because he's one of the best coaches in the league. This is going to be a very tough test for the Clippers because the Nuggets are a team with a very strong structural system. The Clippers look disoriented of all sorts, going up against the very team that they blew a 3-1 series lead in the bubble to. And it's going to be very hard. If we do this game, I may think about joining you if we do such a broadcast tomorrow, and we may be, and we're going back and forth because the Clippers may be in hot water. This is must-win territory.
If I do that game and you want to join, I'll just pencil it in, then I'll go ahead and do that game. Because honestly, Alec, I hope that the game is not a train wreck, but I feel like Denver is going to beat the living heck out of the Clippers.
Oh And to note, with that, going back to the Nuggets, I was a little surprised that there's a team on the rise, and when we talk about the NBA and how the league can be full of surprises, well, the Houston Rockets have won 6 straight, and most recently to the defending champions. Ime Udoka basketball truly is back.
It's pretty good to see on that side because he was a good coach. On the other side for the Seven tomorrow for Tyronn Lue, I think he's a good coach, and there's going to be some struggles there. There is some notable college basketball games to follow. I think the Champions Classic will begin underway tomorrow. It'll be Duke and Michigan State, number 9 and 11 on that side. And I think the nightcap is going to be a good one there on ESPN between Kansas and Kentucky. The former Michigan transfer, Hunter Dickinson, is on the number 1 Kansas Jayhawks as they're both taking on each other, 1-17 and 2-0.
These college programs really, when we think of blue bloods, of course, Duke, Kansas, UNC, they come to mind. We were there when UConn won it all and establishing themselves truly as a blue blood. But Kansas still up there with that big reputation. They won the national championship the year before UConn did so, and they did so for a reason. But Bill Self really gunning for it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. Hey, maybe Alec on this side, I'll lead off the third period, and we can split it at the halfway point if we want to do a completely even broadcast, if that sounds good to you. 19 shots to 18. Again, as we talked about, that's the official numbers now. It's a 2-1 game. Colorado got a couple key goals, but if Seattle can find a way to get back some energy in that second intermission, who knows what they can find. But Colorado started to bring the pain a little bit, and we'll have to see if they can find an answer to Seattle.
And we're going to look at Mikko Rantanen from the Altitude Network. He's played 17-12 of ice time so far tonight. So once again, it's that heavy workload that the 2 stars they've been getting. 17-18 on the ESPN side. That is a heavy workload indeed.
So I'm going to go ahead and get this call here in 1 second. I'm just going to go ahead and make this plug in on the phone side. And then we get an opportunity here for Seattle and their defensive end. They're going to try to go left to right here in this third period as it's a long outstretched pass, goes off the stick of Jaden Schwartz, and it'll go back to D as it'll be Schultz. Spin this around for Jared McCann. Back to Schultz now. Schultz stutter step near the left side board, so wrap this around the inboards now for Alex Wenberg. Wenberg now gets taken down pretty good. Shane Wright's out there as they mixed in the lines for Dave Hakstol's squad over Colorado. Funnels it back out of danger. 2-1 is the score line in Seattle's power play, down to about 10 seconds. See if they can find something to work with here, get some sustained pressure. Shane Wright getting some power play time, but Colorado able to get this one out. Maybe they could have forced the penalty there, but we're still live with 19 minutes left to go in the third. As here is a saucer pass near the right side. And Seattle look to start again as they move this skate to stick with Matty Beniers. In between the circles now off the drop as Seattle looks to get acclimated here. And the home Navies, they'll flip this one around. They're able to stay on the heat, and Matty Beniers tried to go ahead and make a pass, but it got banked in off the zebra. As Tomas Tatar will flip this one back here for Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson gets away from the head, backhands it out of the zone, and now Tatar off a 1-on-4. I'll drop this one as this works right in between the defense here for Seattle. And across the red line now will gain the entry off of a soft flip. Gurgiev will stick it aside. Beniers trying to stay to his feet. Now he'll attack it as this goes near the left side red line. Jaden Schwartz. Spin this back around over Bjorkstrand now here for Schwartz as this gets intercepted by Devon Toews. Played it off the backhand off the window. That worked out well as Adam Larsson has it. And across the red now, he spun back for Yanni Gourde. He'll try to make the pass and gain the entry on the right side wing for Bjorkstrand. Pan against the wall and lost it. Here comes Colorado. Logan O'Connor drop pass. This is near the right side dot, but intercepted by Seattle. Oliver Bjorkstrand with a sauce as this one is picked up by Borgen. Wrapped around the inboards now for Johansen. Johansen now might get a piece of this as it bounced between a couple Seattle stick blades, and Borgen trying to find it in between his feet. over Bjorkstrand. Spin this back around, the former Columbus Blue Jacket, as it hits Joey DeCord. So Ian Genji is in here right now, probably getting in on this side. 17-10 left to go in this third. It's a race for the puck, and it's not going to be iced. This will be fired near the left side post, as Schultz will take a look at it. Here's a chance the other way, maybe 2-on-1. Cross pass. Joey DeCord slides over as the puck goes near the left side of the red line now. Still 2-1 lead as Ross Colton had an opportunity. Tanev, watch this one go to Cale Makar. Cross pass Bowen Byram into the traffic. Pulls up by the right pad of Joey DeCord. As it's flipped, Tanev has it now. Away Tolvanen now, the back check, but it's an ice.
We're getting at that point where we're getting more physical and testy here in this third period. That time, Caleb Jones nearly would have gotten sent to the box. I mean, nearly, like just a smear edge. Just nearly. How are we doing, Ian?
Well, fellas, I just watched the ending to probably one of the... Oh, my God. I know you guys have been covering this hockey game, but if either of you saw the ending to the Monday Night Football game between the Bills and the Broncos.
I saw that the Broncos scored late, so now I went 10-3 in my pool rather than 11-2 because the Bills can't even beat the Broncos. This one is right at the doorstep there. Bounces off with Schultz's skate, and DeCord's got to dive to hold on and get a face-off.
Okay. So, I'm guessing neither of you saw the ending to the game.
Just watch the ending of it, that's it.
Okay. But Alec, did you see what happened?
There was an underthrown ball, but we're going right back to this game. We can discuss this in the intermission, but nice sliding save by Joey DeCord on the previous play.
Nichushkin from Makar, that was kind of mixed up there in the middle of the slot. It was Nathan MacKinnon trying to join in on a combination play right in front of the net. Devon Toews, this one goes up and on a play.
Oof. These two teams really back and forth. Really, that they're bringing the best out of each other. We noticed several times, and we talked about this with Cooper in the other game back on Thursday. But still, the fact that it's a tie hockey, it's not a tie hockey game. Well, it was previously until Colorado grabbed the lead. It's a one-goal game. Shows that these two teams, no matter how they play this game, it just feels like a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, it's amazing that this is the final meeting of the regular season already. Again, they just played on Thursday, got the Monday night alongside Ian Genji, John on Alec Nava. We've mixed in between play-by-play and color. Might do so again on the third side of it. That this will be done once these teams meet in the playoffs, and there's going to be a lot left to be decided because we're still on November 14th on a Monday night. As it's Jones, Caleb Jones, will put this in the left side red line now. Behind the cage now, Duran keeps it alive as Tatar. We'll get this near the red side of the red line. Now Jones spins right in front. They don't shoot it. No, they do. Scores! And the Avalanche take a 3-1 lead. It's Cale Makar.
Well, but the superstar defenseman who we described about having similar play qualities to Bobby Orr, he was wide open. I mean, nobody was covering him at the high slot. Joey DeCord saw all his guys right in front of him, and he's basically going to say to his guys, is anyone going to cover the high slot? Is anyone going to watch over this guy? Nobody did so, and they're getting stung by that at the price.
Alec, that's one of those Steve Dangle type moments. You got 5 guys standing around essentially doing nothing. Nobody picks up Cale Makar, who's all alone here. The right dot, you know he's going to snipe that.
Yeah, every time that he's left wide open at the high slot, he's just going to fire a bullet of a wrist shot.
15-20 left to go in the third. Is this going to be the kill shot for the Colorado Avalanche? Again, we mentioned that they've lost 5 of the last 7. They got smoked by the St. Louis Blues. They lost 8-2 and that was at Ball Arena on that side. They need the answer here. Here's a cross pass. Yamamoto spin and turn, and the ref's hand is not up in the air. This is still alive now. Logan O'Connor holding on to that protect puck. As this is spun back around, Ross Colton. Here's a slap shot, huge rebound, and this one goes wide of the court. I thought that was going to go in. Colorado's still with it now near the Reds' right side dot. Here's a chance, goes wide as it's picked up now for Johnson. He will pinch to keep this alive for the Avalanche now. They're really buzzing from this Cale Makar goal. And Seattle essentially, Alec, they've had no answers since giving up 2 straight in that second period. It really feels that way. As Vince Dunn has to start this in his own end with Adam Larsson. Going to try to go left to right in the home navies. Again, the cerulean maroon. They have this now. Valeri Nichushkin will spin near the left side dot off the backhand. It bounces off a Seattle body. Yanni Gourde. He is desperate to try to make something happen there, but it's 1-on-3. Tries to get away from Cale Makar, but he makes the pass under duress and gets this nicely here for number 29. MacKinnon off the drop for Byram. Right in a slap. Big slap shot and a good save for the cord. Valeri Nichushkin right in the middle of the circles. Bowen Byram cross pass, tees up the bomb. This goes wide back here. He goes up. It's on top of the crease. Alexiak trying to put a glove on it. As Nichushkin will get a piece of it. That was on the top of the bar and rolled back into play. My goodness. Colorado now. We'll get this on the blue line side. Bowen Byram will spin it back. Pass goes wide. Just holds the blue line though. Bowen Byram touch pass. Try to get it back. Byram spins it around the inboards now as this gets blown dead. My goodness.
So we have some pushing and shoving at center ice at the end of this. There's a little scuffle over the Sea Monster logo up in the letter S. But we're wondering, what in the wide world was that? But the puck going right at the top of the net, just staying out for that entire time. What in the wide world? Was it the first time you've ever seen this together?
I've never seen this with you on this side. The first time for both of us is it was a backhand. Nathan MacKinnon trying to hit it off the top of the mesh or the top of the bar off the net as the rebound was still live for another 30 seconds after that. Colorado was funneling chances at the net, and they're probably lucky that Seattle didn't concede another one.
Yeah, because when you look, Seattle, they've been having no answers for the Avalanche ever since those back-to-back goals in the second period. It's been all Avalanche from here on out. I know, Ian, you wanted to get to the Monday night game. What were you saying earlier?
I don't know if he stepped away or if he's still around on that.
I think he's on mute. But he wanted to get onto that Bills Broncos game. All right, just saw the ending of it. What was it?
Final score 24-22 Broncos. And this is what happened. So there's going to be debate on this, but final gasp of breath for the Broncos. The final play, they're without a timeout. They run a play, Jerry Jeudy gets open, Russell Wilson just flings it up towards him. And Taron, and granted, the ball's underthrown, but Taron Johnson just barrels into Jerry Jeudy, doesn't even look, he turns his head too late towards the ball. Pass interference is called. There's 13 seconds left on the clock. They kneel it down. Kneel it down until there's 13 seconds left on the clock. And then they send a field goal unit out there while the clock is running. They get the kickoff from 41 yards. They missed. The Bills should have won, right? A penalty. 12 men on the defense. And with 4 seconds left, the Broncos get another shot, and they make it. Bills lose. That was it. Like, how? How do you? How?
Yeah, just how. And speaking of how did Joey DeCourt stop that? How in the world did he stop that?
Logan O'Connor was on a rush of a pretty much 3-on-1, and he might have saved the game at this point, even if Seattle's up against it. We're in the middle of a 4-on-4 for 110. It was offsetting minors for roughing as you went to the commercial break. So 4-on-4 for another minute. About 12:25 left to go in this third. Drawn on, Alec Nava and Ian Genji here for Climate Pledge Arena. It's the final meeting of the season between Colorado and Seattle. They've played nothing but spectacular games, and Game 3 in this final regular season meeting has kind of fit that same bill. Over Bjorkstrand now across the tentacle S. We'll shoot it high and up and out of play. 12:07 left.
In the same way in which I'm asking myself, how in the world do the Bills lose a game like that? I'm still wanting to know, how in the world did Joey DeCourt stop that? That might be the game saver. Seattle were to come back into this game and get 2 on Colorado. Anything is possible by this point because Anaheim, they made a ridiculous comeback on Boston earlier in the year, down by 2 goals in the final 2 minutes of regulation, tied at 3, win in overtime with Mason McTavish, the OT winner.
Slap shot off the face-off went for Seattle, and it was a rare one and went off the crossbar. And now it's Nichushkin. He's going to win a chip and chase. Here's a cross pass for Johansen as this one is picked back up now and shoveled away from the blue line side. So Bowen Byram will have to start again. And Alec, I agree with all the points you made with the cord there. We just need to see that push from Seattle, but their goaltender has done the job. What a move from Bowen Byram at his own end. Able to brush away the contact as this is played off the backhand now, and Yanni Gourde will go get a chance to pick this one up. About 2 seconds left to go on this 4-on-4. We'll be back to full strength on both sides in a long shot. This one will bounce up high and out of play, so we'll return to full strength with 11:22 left, but Dumoulin just rang the top of the pipe.
Oh, that close to being a face-off win goal for Brian Dumoulin. And for all the times that Seattle has lost face-offs, this one nearly went towards their favor, as ironic as this sounds given the pace of this game, because Seattle's been outright dominated at the dot throughout this game, nearly the goal that could have brought it within 1.
Absolutely. Wenberg trying to win a key draw here. Turbo will spin it back around again. Wenberg and Tanev could have combined for a goal if it wasn't for the goaltender interference. Would have been a 2-0 lead for Seattle. It would have been a 3-2 game now. As this is played into the traffic now, and this will get spun away. And Tanev will watch this one race back into his own end. It'll be nice and against the Avs. We get a stoppage right at 11 minutes.
So Seattle is at the point where the clock is starting to go against them. We've seen some comebacks from down 2 goals because let's remember, the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey. We've seen many 2-goal comebacks before. Rarest it from 3 goals, even rarer from 4 goals, the rarest from 5 goals, but 2 goals can be a feat from any team.
And it's got to start with the face-off wins on that. So this time Seattle can't get it in their own end. And across the red line now, here's a chance for 2-on-1. And what a beautiful sequence of the north-south play. And Colorado makes it 4-1. And that could be the game.
This should feel good for Jonathan Drouin. Finally, he gets his first goal as an Av. A long time coming for him when he came over in free agency to play with his best friend, Nathan MacKinnon. And he and McKinnon go tape on the goal. And it is indeed McKinnon the assist. And nicely done there by McKinnon to give him the first goal of the season. You know, Drouin has long been looking for that. And how about this? 2 best friends combining on the goal.
That's pretty sweet. What about that touch pass that we saw into the neutral zone to set that up? A no-look between the legs touch pass leading to a 2-on-1 and finishing it off the pass. That was gorgeous.
Very gorgeous from the neutral zone instead of McKinnon. And how about Mikko Rantanen at the neutral zone to set that one all up? That was basically Rantanen on the setup. Give him the second apple.
Man, oh man, the skill that Colorado can possess is on display. The only question is, why is it so off and on? Again, that's what Jared Bednar and company and everybody else wants to know. When we get to the next stoppage, I'll definitely hand this back over to you on this side and finish it off, as it's Tanev. This will be picked up now and across the defensive zone, and here come the Avalanche again off the rush. It's Johnson who'll drop this one across for Wood. Center it back, and DeCord will brush this away as Seattle has it. Here's a stick chop, as this will be settled right back in for the Avalanche. They've just scored another key goal in this third, and Seattle, for as much pressure as they've had, some of those quick counterattacks, those finger snap moves, that's been in the favor of the Avs, and they've taken advantage of it. Full marks. They've scored some really nice goals. As this is near the right side, Schultz will try to find it, as this will get flipped away off the one-out stretch. However, Bjorkstrand will bank this in off the left side boards, and Seattle will flip this one back across to Schultz. Pick this up. Wood will send this one to Walensky. And now Tomas Tatar. This will get flipped all the way down back to DeCord. He will touch this one, and Seattle will look to start again. And Ryan Dumoulin. Dumoulin now banked it across the red line, but here's a chance to get swatted away from Nathan MacKinnon. Valeri Nichushkin out the rush. Here's a clapper. This one goes wide. Can it be held in? Yes, it is. The Avalanche continue to keep more pressure here. Number 29 has it near the right side board, so he'll drop it back for Toews into the traffic. This one gets bounced in off behind the cage. The cord taking a look at it. Take the slap shot. Cale Makar, Devon Toews, wrister. That goes way wide, but Cale Makar's there. We'll hold the right side blue line. Move back around the inboards now. Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon. First line's back out there. They're already up by 3. It kind of feels like overkill. Nathan MacKinnon still trying to find his way to get through it. He'll make a pass in between the legs, like Kartye did for Devon Toews. And now we'll see if we can get to it. A great move for Cale Makar in his own end. Look at that. Keeping it alive off the backhand, finding the space and flipping it in. Go ahead and take it out.
And this has been a complete of an effort as Colorado has been putting up left and right. Because they've been dominating on both sides of the ice as we're winding down here in this third period with 8:05 to go here in this game, unless the Seattle can pull off a miracle like what the Toronto Maple Leafs did in Game 4 against the Tampa Bay Lightning with Alex Kerfoot, that overtime winner, almost fought for most. That was Mark Giordano with his first ever playoff goal in his then 18-year career. Is in year 19 in his playing career. Well, 18th in the NHL because he did not play in the NHL in the 08 season. Now 7:35 to go here. And this is a goaltender-heavy Hockey Hall of Fame class. We can go to that upon the intermission to talk about. And this is now played by Colorado. Jonathan Drouin, who has his first goal as an Av. Nicely done here for him on the pass from Nathan MacKinnon on the 2-on-1. When we talk of 2-on-1s, the Seattle Kraken had one earlier on a shorthanded chance. That was waved off because of the successful challenge from Jared Bednar. Adam Larsson plays it at the near corner. Around this goes for Bjorkstrand. Bjorkstrand going over to the net. Dance gets waved through. Lost it for a moment. Now long shot. That goes wide as the Kraken pick this right back up. There's not going to be an icing on this play. Joey DeCord plays it up. And Walensky heads over to the bench. Nice debut for him. 9:45 of playing time. He's +1 on the plus-minus with a shot on goal in his NHL debut. As pick it up with 6:34 to go with Tatar, who gets tied up. Little backhand feed over to the left side for Devon Toews, who races after the puck with Will Morgan, and he just casually taps this one in. It's done. We'll get this out over to the far side and a tap. And this one sticked away by Nick McKinnon, but Yanni Gourde was pressuring right after this puck. And it's now picked up by Makar. What magic can he do? He dances his way around, but no burn around Will Morgan. Morgan stayed with Makar the entire way. Nice defense to shut down Makar. But here's Jack Johnson to intercept the pass with 6 minutes left in regulation. And a quick save by Joey DeCord on a tight angle shot from the place that Brad Marchand scored in Game 3 against the Islanders in 2021 in overtime. We get a stoppage with 5:51 to go in regulation. It's been a goal party here for Colorado. And it's 2 straight periods when he scored 2 goals. Cale Makar, Jonathan Drouin for
Looks like Vince Dunn's going to go to the box for an unsportsmanlike.
And Bill, there's a sense of frustration with Vince Dunn brewing here because his team is down by 3 goals, the same margin that they were down in the first game in the regular season series. But keep in mind, it feels like no matter what's happened between these two teams, the road team seems to be having the upper hand throughout this series.
Yes, they are. And I didn't mean to hand that play-by-play to you like a hot potato, but if we went to the commercial break right at 5:51, I felt like I would have owed you some minutes. So go ahead and finish off the rest of this, and then we'll see what happens on the tomorrow side. Again, if we do the Nuggets and the Clippers, I think that can be fun. But again, as I said, I'm not sure which way that game's going to go. I'm also not sure what we're going to see as far as the in-season tournament court designs. I hope the players and the font and everything else doesn't mesh in with the stripe they have in the middle of the court on the in-season courts now.
And it feels like the NBA may be trying to do too much with the courts. It's all right if you're trying to go decorative, but if you're going with the way the in-season tournament courts are at, they may be getting a little too cute with it.
I'm glad that you said that, because I know some people, if I mention that, I'll be called like a Debbie Downer or something like that. Like I don't like new things. I do, but I mean, just go ahead and just put like the in-season tournament font somewhere in the corner. You don't need to make a giant stripe with a trophy right in the middle of it.
It was like you're gathering up for a party or something.
Yeah.
You're trying to do too much. I mean, well, at least here's the Hockey Hall of Fame induction. And that was today, and Henrik Lundqvist was part of that.
Very
cool.
cool.
Goaltender Eddie, the Hockey Hall of Fame class, between him, Mike Vernon, and Tom Barrasso, were joined by Caroline Ouellette, Pierre Turgeon, Pierre Lacroix, and Ken Hitchcock.
I think those are all names, Alec, on that side. All of them ring a bell, and all of them are well-deserved.
And every one of them well-deserved in each and every one of their facets, including King Henrik himself. I believe the next time when he goes to Madison Square Garden, he's going to get a standing ovation from Rangers fans.
Absolutely.
So back here with 5:46 to go here in regulation, he has back on the power play once again. The court going post to post, anticipating a shot from McKinnon. The Avalanche running out clock here on this man advantage. I think they're doing the smart thing because they're protecting a lead. They don't need another goal here, but it's a double minor for a sportsmanlike conduct on Vince Dunn. We don't know how much longer he's going to go as Cale Makar is just going to likely tap his own Nathan McKinnon at Ovechkin's up. There's Ryan Johansen going over to the right side now. Now down low at the side of the net. Now back, this goes over to the right side for McKinnon. A quick shot saved the court. And this puck goes over to Makar. Back for McKinnon as he goes down low for Rantanen. Back for McKinnon. McKinnon trying to start this for Nichushkin. And a broken stick on the clear. How rare is this? Broken stick on the clear. Not something that you see in the NHL that much. Nice spin around by McKinnon. Cross-ice skate. Oh, what a save by the core. Going post to post to stop what would have been the goal that put Colorado on 5-1. Now here's a shot from over the office that McKinnon gets turned away. Tic-tac-toe from left to right. And here's McKinnon who takes the shot. Now right back for Devon Toews. Long shot out in front. Doesn't get to the net. 4:28 to go here in regulation. As Colorado is up 4-1. Now McKinnon breaking free. Well, one-timer saved the cord as he kicked that one out. And Seattle clears this one down. Boy, even though this won't matter much, the court had one of the prettiest saves of the NHL season.
Yeah, he did, especially off the 3-on-1 side. They were wondering how that happened. I feel like Nathan McKinnon's just showing off with that half spin and the 1T setup. That was gorgeous.
The 1T setup and the half spin along the near side boards. As pretty as it can get for number 29 in the Cerulean and Burgundy. Plays whistle dead, but no doubt that we have 3 of the top 10 players or top 15 players in the league. Of course, you're going to get results like these. McKinnon putting Brandon Tanev on the spin cycle. Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, for Nathan McKinnon, I don't know if he gets talked about as much as he should, but wow! Joey Daccord gets all the way over and absolutely robs Nichushkin It's amazing that 4 goals have been scored. He's made a couple highlight reel robbery saves.
It's amazing that even though the Avalanche, they've scored 4 goals, and for how much the Kraken defense has been, we don't know the proper term to say it, but
Right.
boy, the core, he has been as sharp as he can be on these highlight reel saves, including that one with McKinnon on the spin cycle. And had the Nichushkin put that in, it would have been a moment where the assist was prettier than the goal.
Yes.
Yes, now 4-on-4, and I feel that there may be the penalties mounting up here throughout this game. We're going to commercial break as we get another stoppage, and perhaps the last one of this game, mercifully, with 3:37 to go regulation. We know that Vince Dunn had an angry word or two with the refs. We don't know what this recent penalty is about, but we know that Devon Toews, or that was actually Kartye, Vince Dunn, they both got penalties. Kartye on sportsmanlike, Dunn slashing Kartye. His penalty is getting served by Ryan Winterden, and Dunn is tossed.
The latest one that I see right now that they mentioned on the Root Sports feed with John Forslund is a slashing against Schwartz. I believe it's going to be a 4-on-3 now. And if you think about the personnel that could be on the ice, Alec, Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, and take your pick. My goodness, if you're Seattle and Joey Decord, you better get an extra sip of that Gatorade.
It feels that you need to match that talent that Colorado has. And we noted about when we go back to the Rangers-Red Wings game, the same thing that we said the Rangers can be applied to the Avalanche here. Because even though the Avalanche on 5-on-5, and there are 5 skaters on the ice each side, it feels like the Avalanche have 6 guys on the ice from the second period forward.
And I will say this, I know it's only 1 power play marker for the Avalanche, but if it wasn't for Joey Decord over the last couple minutes there, it would have easily been more. I think at least Jared Bednar, regardless of Seattle's defensive situation, I completely agree with you. I think they've been a little lax, especially on the Cale Makar goal. That's kind of inexcusable. But Colorado definitely could have scored more than 1 power play. They look good today.
This is the power play that Colorado has needed to get into bounce back form if they were to reestablish any sort of winning form. Because losing 5 of your last 7 seems troubling, but if you need a win like this, you're going to take it any day of the week.
Yeah, they looked dominant for most part, especially as this game got later and later in this third period.
And you go back home watching over from the mountains as Uncle Rico throws over them mountains. They freaking on the rink wide pass. He and Cale Makar just play some catch, and Makar scores again. 2 from Cale Makar might have been tipped by Valeri Nichushkin, but that may seal it off here. 5-1 Colorado.
Well, you know how I just said Colorado's power play had only scored 1 and they look good? Well, no, they scored 2. You get more needless penalties there, and Valeri Nichushkin, I believe he's going to get the tip, but that's about as target practices and as easy as you like between McKinnon, Makar, and Nichushkin. They kind of play catch, they find the lane, and Val gets a stick on it. Beautiful goal.
And you said it perfectly. This was nothing more than just target practice for Cale Makar. It was his shots, but Nichushkin, he wanted 1, and he got the net front presence like what Artturi Lehkonen and Gabe Landeskog would do if they were on this active roster for Colorado. They would normally do that on a nightly basis if we see Colorado a fully healthy lineup. Perhaps you could see that next season because we won't be seeing Landeskog until at least next year. But so far, so good for Colorado in a win that they have desperately been looking for. 3 minutes until it's official. And Seattle brings it in, but they immediately turn it over. Boy, this could not go any worse for Seattle in this game after they dropped 1 to Edmonton. And the day just before Jay Woodcroft got fired in a shocker, and Decord sees this one all the way on the shot from the right point. 2:44 to go until this one's all wrapped up.
So looks like Colorado, Alec, did their Seattle Kraken impression. 5 different goals from 5 different goal scorers. And I'll just be honest. Again, I think you and I expected Colorado to come back and probably punch Seattle right in the mouth. And that's what they did. But their defensive effort today, especially like maybe toward the final 30 minutes of this game, was not very good. And you cannot take needless penalties and leave Joey Decord hung out to dry because the 5-1 scoreline is not indicative to how Joey Decord played. I thought he did pretty good today.
Yeah, he's been looking like he's the #1 goaltender of the future in Seattle just as they ice it. But if this is a sign of things to come, given the start that he has had, and I'm going to pull up his stats real quick heading into tonight. 913 save percentage, 259 goals against average. Certainly an improvement here, but if I'm Philip Grubauer, I may be getting a bit nervous.
Yeah, I agree with you because, again, you go from 259 to 320. I know it's going to get elevated in this game, but he's pretty much outplaying Philip right now.
Yeah, this is not what the Kraken had in mind when they signed Grubauer to that 6-year deal. We get another stoppage here, and it seems like we're getting more and more pauses here by these referees and more face-offs. Perhaps to pad the stats on the face-off circle for the Avalanche on one end. We're not sure about this, but, everything has gone the Avs' way.
Yeah, and as you said, from the 8-2, from being shut out 3 times in the 5 out of 7 losing streak, this was badly needed for the Avalanche. They look much more like themselves. The only question now is it's sustainable. Can they keep doing this?
Yeah, even though we are not seeing Riley Tufte, in which I thought originally that he was going to be on the lineup tonight, this wasn't the case. As we get another stoppage on the Altitude Network, the evolution of Brandon Tanev's headshots. Same goes.
I'm glad that you have that on that side because I don't have the luxury of it, but Brandon Tanev's got the best faces in the league.
Some of the best that we have seen ever. Bar none. Even Kasperi Kapanen that one year, he had to pay tribute to Brandon Tanev's headshots. Yeah, back when Kapanen was a member of the Penguins. And with how he's doing with the St. Louis Blues, has a reinvigorated sense of confidence on the second line, back to being on a scoring role. Now 90 seconds left until this is over, and the Avalanche are going to join the Broncos on the Victory Tuesday parade. Perhaps. So now it's over to our corner as Colorado just doing their best to run down the clock. It's Ross Colton trying to get one for a good measure because why not? And another save from Joey Decord, who has faced 31 shots on the night. But man, he's had to do basically his Herculean impression because he's getting shelled left and right by a litany of Avalanche shots. But it's been an avalanche of goodwill if you're a Colorado sports fan. Between the Avalanche, the Broncos, and the Nuggets. Well, even though the Nuggets lost to the Rockets, they still have to be feeling good about themselves heading into tomorrow night when they go and face the LA Clippers. Well, look at expected us perhaps calling 2 straight games of Colorado sports.
Yeah, it's pretty good right now if you're an Avs fan and everybody else in the state of Colorado.
The only missing piece is the Colorado Rockies.
That they're going to be waiting a while, my friend.
Yeah, they're going to be waiting a while for the Rockies. So there was one last takedown, and the Kraken, they're just going to run this down. 5-1, the final for the Avalanche as they wrap it up with every road team in this regular season series taking all 3 wins. And congratulations to Jared Bednar for his 300th career NHL win.
Very cool on that side. Very well deserved. He's probably going to be one of the highest winning coaches ever in the Colorado Avalanche history when it's all said and done. Again, a combined score on the road side of the 2 out of 3 for the Avalanche. They've outscored the Kraken 9-2 in those last 2 wins. They look pretty good there on that side. And again, for the Avalanches, they improved to 9-5. and Seattle falls to 5-8-3. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the upcoming schedule here for Colorado, just because I'm interested to see what they got in front of them. They'll have Anaheim and Ball Arena on Wednesday, and then Dallas on Saturday. That's going to be a good one at 8 p.m. Eastern. But Nashville, Vancouver, Minnesota, Calgary, Tampa. This might be some games here, Alec, where the Avalanche can go on a little bit of a run here.
Yeah, these are not gimmies by any means. We talk about Dallas, Vancouver, Tampa Bay. These are all toss-up games.
Right.
Anaheim, they went off to a hot start as of late, but as of recently, with 2 straight losses, even though they beat the San Jose Sharks, perhaps a little run of, hey, maybe you should calm down your expectations.
Yes.
Even after that winning streak. But I want to speak on the Dogs. That one goal by Radko Gudas, from what we've seen in the replays. What on earth?
Again, you'd have to fill me in on the Radko Gudas goal. What did I miss?
All right, the Radko Gudas goal. So he shot it from the right point. It deflects off a sharp stick, went up in the air, and then in the net.
Oh my! This was the last one against San Jose?
Yeah, it was the last one against San Jose.
I'm going to go ahead and look that one up, so I'll have some theater viewing when the time that this one's done. We've seen some weird goals. We've seen an almost goal on this one that went off the top of the post, up on the mesh, and then still went back into play. But today, Alec, I think this was a good old-fashioned butt kicking served by the Colorado Avalanche against the Kraken.
Yeah, the 2 points that they really looked for to end up a losing skid, perhaps for good now that they got the Ducks next, the Stars, and the hangar, or the house that Dirk built. You think about the Mavericks in basketball, the hangar because it's American Airlines Center, then the Predators at Bridgestone, you go back home to face the Canucks, the Wild on the road, the Flames at home, and then the Lightning at home on the Thanksgiving week and the Black Friday side. Should be a nice stretch for Colorado on the month of November.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what we're alluding to. I'm going to expect that Colorado starts to pick it up a little bit, bank some points, and we will see what happens with them as the season goes forward. And for Vancouver, man, oh man, they've looked good to start the year. I think I might do that game on Thursday's side against the Flames. We'll figure that one out. But I think we're going to join Alec tomorrow for the Clippers and the Nuggets. We can't promise you that game's going to be close, but I think at least stick around on the side of it because I might have some things to say depending on how bad the Clippers play.
It should be a theater of art, no matter how it goes.
Sounds good, my friend. So we'll talk again tomorrow and hopefully have some fun with the in-season tournament. Thank you for joining me for this one. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun here tonight.
We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Sounds good. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Meaning never change, won't need a filter replacement for up to 5 years. Experience ultra-powerful purification, capturing odors, allergens, and more. And with Shark's innovative CleanSense IQ, you can watch as your air improves in real time. The Shark never changed.
All right, so that was a 5-1 final on that side as we talk about. And then on the other end for me, it was a 10-3 football portion of the week. And back-to-back losses with the Jets and the Bills side. So I hope 10-3 is enough to win money this week in a pool of about 75 people. But man, if I would have won 11-2, that would have been a guarantee 10-3. I'm not quite sure if that's going to get it done. I'll let you know on the football picks on the side of it for Friday, but we will see you tomorrow for the Nuggets and the Clippers. That one will be on TNT about 10:10 Eastern. Hope you join Alec and I for tomorrow's side on the NBA in-season tournament. Peace, everybody.